This is ChestertonRadio.com.
The world's great novels. Universally acclaimed as one of the superb tales of the sea is the story of a great white whale and of Captain Ahab's fatal monomania in pursuing it. The NBC University of the Air presents the first installment of a 4-part radio edition of Herman Melville's adventurous classic, Moby Dick. Another in a series of books that live, the world's great novels.
Call me Ishmael, mateys. Some years ago, I thought I would sail about a little and see the watery part of the world. It's a way I have of driving off the spleen. In fact, whenever it's a damp, drizzly November in my soul, and I find myself involuntarily bringing up the rear of every funeral I meet, then I account it high time to get to sea. So, when I felt a lure to go on a whaling voyage, I stuffed a shirt or two into my old carpet bag and, setting out for Nantucket, reached there on a Saturday night in December. It was a dark and dismal night, cold, windy, and cheerless. I knew no one in the place. With anxious grapnels, I sounded my pockets and only brought up a few pieces of silver. So, wherever you go, dear Ishmael, said I to myself, be sure to inquire the price, and don't be too particular. A few minutes later, not far from the docks, I dimly saw the swinging sign of the Spouter Inn. It had a poverty-stricken sort of creak to it, and I thought that here was the very spot for cheap lodgings. So I went in. Good evening, landlord.
Good evening, young man.
It's a boggy, soggy, squitchy night.
God help all poor sailors on a night like this.
Can I get a room here?
Sorry, lad, but there's not a bed unoccupied. Oh, but avast. You ain't no objections to sharing a harpooner's blanket, have you?
Well, I hadn't thought of...
I suppose you're going to whaling, so you'd better get used to that sort of thing.
Maybe I could sleep on this bench here.
There's a foot too short, lad.
If you don't mind, tell me about this harpooner.
Well, he's a dark-complexioned chap. Eats nothing but steaks and likes 'em rare.
Oh, where is he? Is he here?
He'll be here afore long.
But it's nearly midnight now. Does he always keep such late hours?
No. Generally, he's an early bird. Early to bed and early to rise. Yeah, he's the bird that catches the worm. But tonight he went out a-peddling, you see. And what on earth keeps him so late, I don't know. Unless he can't sell his head.
Can't sell his head? What sort of bamboozling story is this you're telling me?
It is no bamboozle.
You pretend to say, landlord, that this harpooner is actually engaged this blessed Saturday night, or rather Sunday morning, in peddling his head around this town?
That's precisely it. And I told him he couldn't sell it here. The market's overstocked.
Overstocked with what?
With heads, to be sure. Ain't there too many heads in the world?
I tell you what it is, landlord. You'd better stop spinning that yarn to me. I'm not green.
Oh, I can see that. Many's the lad who arrives fresh from plowed fields to go whaling, with bell buttons to his waistcoat and straps on his canvas trousers. Poor hayseeds. How bitterly burst those straps in the first howling gales, when they're driven, straps, buttons, and all, down the throat of the tempest.
I've no bell buttons nor straps either.
No, you're not green, lad. But you'll be done brown if that harpooner hears you slander his head.
Perhaps I'll break it for him.
It's broke already.
Broke? Actually broke, do you mean?
Certain. And that's the very reason he can't sell it, I guess.
Landlord, you and I must understand one another. I come to your inn and want a bed. You tell me you can only give me half a one, that the other half belongs to a certain harpooner, who, according to your story, sounds mad, and I've no intention of sleeping with a madman.
Be easy, lad, be easy. This here harpooner I've been telling you of has just arrived from the South Seas, where he bought up a lot of embalmed New Zealand heads. They're great curios, you know, and he sold all of them but one. And that one he's trying to sell tonight. because tomorrow's Sunday, and it would not do to be selling human heads about the streets when folks is going to churches.
Ah, so that's it. Though it does seem to me that a harpooner that stays out of a Saturday night clean into the holy Sabbath to sell the heads of dead idolaters is a dangerous man.
He pays regular. But come, lad, it's a nice bed. Besides, I've hum you won't see that harpooner tonight. He's come to anchor somewhere. So come along, then. Do come. Won't you come?
Very well, landlord. I'll chance it.
Brave lad. Here, I'll give you a glim in a jiffy. Now then, come along, right down the hall. So you're going to whaling?
Yes. You see, I'm not so much bound to any haven ahead as rushing from all havens astern.
Don't rush too fast, my lad. There's death in this business of whaling. Aye, a quick bundling of a man into eternity. Well, here we are.
It's as cold as a clam in here.
Ah, but look at the bed. A nice bed. Sal and me slept in that bed the night we were spliced, about 100 years ago. So make yourself comfortable now, and good night to you.
Thinking of the head-peddling harpooner, I undressed. Then, blowing out the light, I tumbled into bed, commending myself to the care of heaven. I had barely fallen asleep when suddenly I heard a heavy footfall in the passage. Holding a candle in one hand and an embalmed head in the other, the stranger crossed the room without seeing me. I lay utterly still. Good heavens! Such a face, dark, purple, without a hair on his head except a small scalp knot. Some abominable savage here in this room. Suddenly he picked up a tomahawk from the table and put it between his teeth. The next moment the room was plunged in darkness, and this wild cannibal sprang into bed with me. I sang out,
Landlord, help! Save me!
Boy, devil you!
Help!
You no speaky, I kill thee.
Landlord, save me! Here, what's going on in here? Oh, so it's you, Queequeg. Don't be afraid now, lad. Queequeg here wouldn't harm a hair on your head.
Why didn't you tell me that this infernal harpooner was a cannibal?
Didn't I tell you he was a peddling heads around town? Besides, better sleep with a sober cannibal than a drunken Christian.
Well, tell him to stash his tomahawk there. It's dangerous and I ain't insured.
Queequeg, look here. You sabi me. I sabi you. This man sleepy you sabi?
Me sabe plenty.
And he don't like that tomahawk neither. Put it on the floor. There. Now then, lad, turn flukes again and go to sleep.
Good night, landlord. I never slept better in my life. The next morning I examined my roommate with much interest. Cannibal he indeed was, but he looked like a man who had never cringed and had never had a creditor. After breakfast, we had a social smoke together and were soon cronies. He made me a present of his embalmed head, then drew out $30 in silver, divided it, and made me take half. From that hour I clove to Queequeg like a barnacle, yea, till poor Queequeg took his last long dive. Learning from the landlord that the whaling ship the Pequod was up for a 3-year voyage, Queequeg and I sauntered down to the wharf, picking our teeth with halibut bones to take a look at her. There she is, Queequeg, painted on her bow, the Pequod.
Me see him.
Weather-stained in the typhoons and calms of 4 seas. A noble craft, but somehow a most melancholy. All noble things are touched with that.
Him cap'n on quarterdeck.
Let's go and talk to him.
Me stay here.
Quaker by the looks of him. Wait for me here a minute. Are you the captain of the Pequod?
What dost thou want of him?
I was thinking of shipping.
Oh, thou wast thou? I see thou art no Nantucketer. Ever been in a smashed whaleboat?
No, sir, I never have.
Dost know nothing at all about whaling, I dare say, eh?
Nothing, sir, but I have no doubt I shall soon learn. I've been several voyages in the merchant service, and I think
Dost see that leg? I'll take that leg away from thy stern if ever thou talkest of the merchant service to me again. Merchant service, indeed, flames and flukes. What makes you want to go whaling, eh?
I've a mind for it.
Why? What takes you whaling? I want to know what before I think of shipping you.
Well, sir, I want to see what whaling is. I want to see the world.
Want to see what whaling is, eh? Have you clapped eye on Captain Ahab?
Who is Captain Ahab, sir?
Aye, I thought so. Captain Ahab is the captain of the ship.
I thought I was speaking to the captain himself.
Thou art speaking to Captain Peleg. That's who you are speaking to, young man. I am part owner, and it belongs to me to see the Pequod supplied with all her needs, including crew.
Yes, sir.
So you want us to know what whaling is, eh? Now clap eye on Captain Ahab, young man, and thou wilt find that he has only one leg.
What do you mean, sir? Was the other one lost by a whale?
Lost by a whale? Young man, it was devoured, chewed up, crunched by the most terrible sperm whale that ever chipped a boat. So now I've given thee a hint about what whaling is. Do you yet feel inclined for it?
I do, sir.
Very good. Now, art thou the man to pitch a harpoon down a live whale's throat and then jump after it? Answer quick.
I am, sir.
Good again. Now then, you also want to go in order to see the world. Was not that what you said?
Yes, sir.
Turn around and take a peep over the weather bow and tell me what you see there. Well, what's the report? What do you see?
Not much. Nothing but water. And there's a squall coming up, I think.
But can't you see enough of the world from where you stand without wishing to go around Cape Horn?
No, sir. I mean, the Pequod seems to me like a fine ship, and I want to go along.
Then thou mayst as well sign the papers right here and now. I shall put you down for a 275th part of the clear net proceeds of the voyage.
That's not much, sir.
Not much? Why, with luck, it'll pretty nearly pay for the clothes you wear out on it. Not to speak of 3 years' beef and board, for which you won't have to pay one stiver.
Another thing, sir. I have a friend with me who wants to ship out, too.
Ah. Has he ever whaled it any?
Killed more whales than I can count, sir. He's a harpooner. Now, there he is now, Captain.
Call him.
Oh, Queequeg! Queequeg, come here!
Meanwhile, young man, you can sign right here.
Excuse me, sir, but where can Captain Ahab be found?
What dost thou want of Captain Ahab?
Before signing the ship's papers, perhaps I ought to see him.
He won't always see me, so I don't suppose he will thee. He's in his cabin. But you like him well enough. No fear, no fear. He's been sick, but he'll be all right again before long. He's a grand, ungodly, godlike man, Captain Ahab is. Doesn't speak much, but when he does speak, then you may well listen.
Yes, sir.
Great hunter of whales, and good to his crew. But mark ye, be forewarned. Captain Ahab's above the common. Ahab's been in colleges, as well as among the cannibals. Been used to deeper thoughts than the waves. Fixed his fiery lance in mightier, stranger foes than whales. He ain't a mere man like me. He's Captain Ahab, boy. And Ahab of old, thou knowest, was crowned the king.
And a very vile one, sir. When that wicked king was slain, the dogs, did they not lick his blood?
Never say that aboard the Pequod, lad. Never say it anywhere. I warn thee. I know Captain Ahab well. Sailed with him as a mate once. He's a good man. Not a pious good man, but a swearing good man. You understand?
Yes, sir.
He was never very jolly. And on the passage home, he was out of his mind for a spell. But it was the sharp shooting pains in his bleeding stump that brought that about, as anyone might see. And ever since he lost his leg by that accursed whale, he's been moody, savage. But 'twill pass. And I assure thee, young man, better to sail with a moody good captain than a laughing bad one. What? This your ship, mate?
Yes, sir. Queequeg.
I'll have no cannibals aboard this craft.
What do you mean by that, Captain Peleg? He's a member of the church.
Oh, thou art skylarking. What church? Answer me.
I mean, sir, the same ancient church to which every mother, son, and soul of us belong.
What?
The great congregation of this whole worshipping world. We all belong to that. Only some of us cherish some private ideas, not touching the one great belief in God. In that, we all join hands.
Young man, I never heard a better sermon. I say, Queequeg, or whatever your name is, you're carrying your own harpoon, I see. Did you ever stand in the head of a whaleboat? Did you ever strike a fish?
Captain, you see him small drop tar and water there? You see him?
Yes?
Suppose him one whale eye. Watch.
You hit it. And if that had been a whale, he'd been a dead one. Here, quick. Dost thou sign thy name or make thy mark?
Me make him mark.
Excellent. There. And now, young man, you may sign just beneath.
Yes, sir.
That's it. Now, gentlemen, you are both members of the crew of the Pequod. There's no telling how soon the vessel will be sailing, so get your gear aboard by night. And may the Lord have mercy on you.
As Queequeg and I set out for the Spouter Inn, I did but half fancy being committed this way to so long a voyage without laying my eyes on the man who was to be the absolute dictator of it so soon as the ship sailed out upon the open sea. But I said nothing and tried to think of nothing when suddenly a stranger in a faded jacket and patched trousers accosted us.
Shipmates, have you shipped in that ship?
You mean the ship Pequod, I suppose?
Aye, the Pequod. That ship there.
Yes, we have just signed the articles.
Anything down there about your souls?
About what?
Oh, perhaps you haven't got any.
What are you jabbering about, matey?
He's got enough, though, to make up for all deficiencies of that sort in other chaps.
Let's go, Queequeg. This fellow's talking about something and somebody we don't know.
Stop. You said true. You haven't seen Old Thunder yet, have you?
Who's Old Thunder?
Captain Ahab.
What? The captain of our ship, the Pequod?
Aye. You haven't seen him yet, have you?
No, we haven't. He's been sick, they say. But he'll be all right again before long.
Oh. All right again before long. Looky, when Captain Ahab is all right, then this maimed left arm of mine will be all right. Not before.
What do you know about him?
What did they tell you about him, huh? Say that.
That he's a good whale hunter and a good captain to his crew.
True enough. But did they also tell you about his losing his leg last voyage, according to the prophecy?
My friend, if you're speaking of Captain Ahab, of that ship there, the Pequod, then let me tell you that I know all about the loss of his leg.
All about it, eh? Sure you do. All?
Pretty sure.
Oh, and so you've shipped, have you? Names down on the papers. Well, what's signed is signed, and what's to be will be. Aye, some sailors or other must go with him, I suppose. God pity him. Morning to you, shipmates. The ineffable heavens bless you. I'm sorry I stopped you.
Look here, friend. If you have anything important to tell us, out with it.
I like to hear a chap talk up that way. You're just the man for him. The likes of you both.
You can't fool us, mister. It's the easiest thing in the world for a man to look as if he had a great secret in him.
Morning to you, shipmates. Morning.
Morning it is. Come along, Queequeg. And incidentally, matey, what's your name?
Elijah.
You're a humbug, Mr. Elijah. A humbug? So I thought at the time, little knowing. Well, we had not gone 100 yards when, chancing to turn a corner and looking back, who should be seen but Elijah following us. As we turned into the inn, however, he passed on. But that night, as we approached the ship in a heavy fog, I thought I saw figures like phantoms ahead of us. There's some sailors running ahead along the wharf, if I see right. We'd better hurry, Queequeg.
Oh, that's there.
Huh?
Going aboard?
Oh, so it's you again, Mr. Elijah.
Going aboard after all, be you?
Elijah, we're going to the Indian and Pacific Oceans, so we can't hang around chinning with you. He's cracked, Queequeg. Come on.
Oh, wait. Did you see anything looking like men going towards the ship ahead of you a minute ago?
4 or 5 men. It was too dim to be sure.
Dimmer than you'd think. Just see if you can find them now, will you?
Why, they're aboard the Pequod.
Oh, sure of that, are you? Well, goodbye to you. Shan't see you again very soon, if ever.
Stepping on board the Pequod, no one who could have been the phantoms were in sight. Only the crew. But there was not much chance to think over the matter. The ship was about to get underway.
Man the capstan! Blood in thunder, jump! Spring, thou sheephead! Spring and break thy backbone! Why don't you spring, I say, all of you, spring! You with the red whiskers, spring! You there, green pants, spring your eyes out!
At last, the anchor was up, the sails were set, and off we glided. We gave 3 heavy-hearted cheers, and as day merged into night, blindly plunged like fate into the lone Atlantic. For several days after leaving Nantucket, nothing above hatches was seen of Captain Ahab. 'Twas the chief mate, Mr. Starbuck, who ran the ship.
I will have no man in my boat who is not afraid of a whale.
My first vague disquietude touching the unknown captain became almost a perturbation. And then one twilight, I caught sight of a man pacing the quarter-deck with a barbaric white leg made from the polished bone of a sperm whale's jaw. Unconsciously, I shrank back out of sight, and further along I saw the mate approaching him.
Excuse me, Captain Ahab.
Yes. What do you want, Starbuck?
If Captain Ahab pleases to walk the planks, no one can say him nay. But with the cabins just under the deck and night coming on, I thought there might be some way of muffling the noise.
Oh, you did you?
Yes, sir. A globe of tow on that ivory leg would...
Am I a cannonball, Mr. Starbuck, that you would ward me in that fashion? Go thy ways, I had forgot. Below to thy nightly grave, where such as ye sleep between shrouds.
I hope you don't think, sir...
Down, dog, and kennel.
I'm not used to be spoken to that way, sir. I do but less than half like it, sir.
Avast.
I will not tamely be called a dog, sir.
Then be called 10 times a donkey and a mule and an ass. And be gone, or I'll clear the world of you.
Yes, sir.
Wait. Send everybody aft here.
Sir?
Do as I say. Send everybody aft. You up there, mastheads. Come down.
When the entire ship's company were assembled, with not wholly unapprehensive faces, Captain Ahab eyed us in silence. Then suddenly he cried out,
What do you do when you see a whale, men?
Sing out for him! Aye.
Good. And what do you next, men?
Guy and after him!
You with a red beard, what tune is it you pull to?
A dead whale or a stove boat?
That's the spirit. Now, men, you see this $20 gold piece? Aye, do you see it?
Aye.
Going to nail it to the mainmast. And so whosoever of you first sights a white whale with a wrinkled brow and a crooked jaw, he shall have the gold. Skin your eyes for him, men. Look sharp for white water. If you see but a bubble, sing out.
Could this white whale ye seek be the one they call Moby Dick, sir?
Aye, Mr. Starbuck. It was Moby Dick that dismasked me. Moby Dick that brought me to this dead stump I stand on now. Aye, and I'll chase him round Good Hope and round the Horn and round Perdition's flames before I give him up. That's what you've shipped for, men. To chase that white whale on both sides of land and over all sides of earth till he spouts black blood and rolls thin out. What say you, men?
We're the lads to hunt down the whale.
And I say, Captain, that to chase and point lances at such an apparition as Moby Dick is not for mortal man. All who have attempted it have been torn into a quick eternity.
The prophecy was that I should be dismembered. And I lost this leg. But I now prophesy that I will dismember my dismemberer. Death to Moby Dick! And may God hunt us all if we do not hunt Moby Dick to his death.
Thus Captain Ahab cherished a wild vindictiveness against the white whale. All evil to him seemed visibly personified in Moby Dick. He piled upon the whale's white hump the sum of all the rage and hate felt by mankind from Adam down. And then, as if his chest had been a mortar, he burst his hot shell upon it, dragging us helplessly after him.
Moby Dick by Herman Melville is one of the world's great novels, brought to you each week by the NBC University of the Air. Next week, this program will not be heard, but the week following, listen to the second episode from Moby Dick. And remember that this and many other fine books are to be had in your local public library. To enhance your enjoyment of these broadcasts, NBC offers you Herbert Gorman's Handbook of the World's Great Novels. Just send 25 cents with your request to World's Great Novels, Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York 27, New York. Moby Dick is adapted for radio by Frederick Schlick, and the music composed by Emil Soderstrom, the orchestra directed by Bernard Berquist. The entire production was under the direction of Homer Heck. Ishmael is played by Everett Clark, Captain Ahab by Jess Pugh, the Landlord by Charles Eggleston, Queequeg by Boris Applin, Peleg by Arthur Peterson, Elijah by Kurt Kupfer, Starbuck by Don Gallagher, and Red Whiskers by Joe Anthony. Remember, great novels will not be heard next week, but will return to the air the week following. This is David Garraway. The program came to you from Chicago. The war is not yet over for many of our men in uniform, and so the USO must and will continue to make life pleasanter for them. Stand by the GI. Contribute generously to the USO. Remember, they still need USO, and USO is you. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Needs the comfort and inspiration of religious faith, for it is faith which helps hold our families together, builds moral and spiritual character. And today, perhaps more than ever before, there's a need to turn to a way of life based on the enduring principles of religion. There are a great many programs of religious nature on NBC Radio, which you'll enjoy hearing this Sunday. Among them, The Art of Living, the National Radio Pulpit, Eternal Light, the Lutheran Hour, the Catholic Hour, and the Hour of Decision conducted by Billy Graham. These are but a few of the broadcasts that will bring you inspiration and comfort not only this Sunday, but on the Sundays to come. Of course, the Easter message will be the highlight event this week. We know you'll enjoy hearing them as a supplement to your visit to the church of your choice. And when you do go to church this Sunday, take the whole family with you.
You are listening to Chesterton Radio at chestertonradio.com.
The world's great novels. Universally acclaimed as one of the superb tales of the sea is the story of a great white whale and of Captain Ahab's fatal monomania in pursuing it. The NBC University of the Air presents the second installment of a 4-part radio edition of Herman Melville's adventurous classic, Moby Dick, another in the series of books that live, the world's great novels. In the first episode, we saw how Ishmael and his newly found shipmate, the cannibal Queequeg, signed aboard the whaling ship the Pequod, and in spite of ominous warnings from a stranger named Elijah, they sailed with her. But not until they'd been at sea for several days did they learn the true purpose of the voyage, to hunt to his death the giant white whale, Moby Dick. And to that sinister errand, they found themselves irrevocably committed by Captain Ahab.
This is Ishmael again, mateys. As this business of whaling has somehow come to be regarded among landsmen as a disreputable pursuit, I'm all anxiety to convince ye of the injustice done us hunters of whales. For to grope down into the bottom of the sea after whales, especially after such a one as Moby Dick, to have one's hands among the unspeakable foundations, ribs, and very pelvis of the world, this is a fearful thing. But perhaps it was the whiteness of Moby Dick that above all things appalled me. I wondered, what must be the thoughts fermenting in the brain of Captain Ahab?
With a frigate's anchors for my bridle bits and harpoons for spurs, would I could mount that whale and leap the topmost skies, to see whether the fabled heavens with all their countless tents really lie encamped beyond my mortal sight. Well, I am Ahab. What I've dared, I've willed, and what I've willed, I'll do. Starbuck thinks me mad, but I am demoniac. I am madness maddened. And though the white whale Moby Dick should turn up his wrinkled brow off the Persian Gulf or in the Bengal Bay or the Yellow Sea, or in any other waters haunted by his race, I'll rush unerringly to him, and naught's an obstacle. Death to Moby Dick!
Ahab's quenchless feud seemed mine. With greedy ears, I learned from my shipmates the history of that murderous monster against whom I and all the others had taken oaths of violence and revenge.
And I say that I, Starbuck, am here in this ocean to kill whales for my living, and not to be killed by them for theirs. That hundreds of men have been so killed, I well know. What doom was my own father's, and where in these bottomless deeps can I find the torn limbs of my brother? And mark ye, shipmates, of all whales, Moby Dick is the most dangerous.
A white whale. Do you mark that, mates? Look ye, there's something special in the wind. Ahab has that's bloody on his mind. Do you hear that noise, Cabaco?
What noise do you mean?
There it is again, under the hatches. Don't you hear it? A cough. It sounded like a cough.
Cough me, I. Pass along the bucket.
There again. There it is. Sounds like 2 or 3 sleepers turning over.
Caramba, have done, shipmate, will you? It is the 3 soaked biscuits you eat for supper turning over inside you, nothing else. Look to the bucket.
Say what you will, Cabaco. I've sharp ears.
Aye. You are the chap that heard the hum of your old lady's knitting needles 50 miles at sea from Nantucket. You're the chap.
Grin away. We'll see what turns up. But I'm saying there's somebody down in the afterhold that hasn't yet been seen topside. And I bet your old mogul Ahab knows something of it, too. What do you think, Chips?
That's against my principles. Think not is my 11th commandment, and sleep when you can is my 12th. But if it's of Moby Dick you're getting nervous, I have seen him. Look at his hanging lower lip. What a huge sulk and pout is there. A sulk and pout, by carpenter's measurement, about 20 feet long and 5 feet deep. A sulk and pout that will yield you some 500 gallons of oil and more. Am I right, Mr. Starbuck?
You are right, Chips. But I say, look at his forehead. The sharpest lance darted by the strongest human arm only rebounds from it. It's as if the forehead of Moby Dick is paved with horses' hoofs. He'll be the death of us.
The wild, watery loneliness of our lives did strongly incline the men to superstition regarding Moby Dick. As for myself, as the days passed and the ivy-tusked Pequod sharply bowed to the blast and gored the dark waves in her madness till like showers of silver chips the foam flakes flew over her bulwarks, for me the great floodgates of the wonder world seemed to swing open, and there floated into my inmost soul a giant whale, a grand hooded phantom like a snow hill in the air, Moby Dick.
Come in. What do you want, Starbuck?
Will there be any change in the course, sir?
What's the wind?
Northeast by east, sir.
As you perceive, I have been consulting my sea charts. Where do you think Moby Dick spouts today, Mr. Starbuck?
No one could possibly know that, sir.
I'm not so sure of that, Starbuck.
Time and tide flow wide, Captain, and the hated whale has the whole round watery world to swim in.
Aye. Where the unrecorded names and navies rust, and untold hopes and anchors rot. Where in her murderous hole this frigate earth is ballasted with bones of millions of the drowned. There in that awful waterland is Moby Dick's familiar home. Nevertheless, we shall find him.
How, sir?
For some months, Starbuck, I have been making an elaborate migratory chart of the sperm whale. Here, look. Here are the 4 oceans of the world with all their currents and eddies.
Yes, sir.
And here I have penciled in the various tides and currents, thereby calculating the driftings of the sperm whale's food. Dost thou understand?
I think I do, sir.
Good. Now, by referring to the regular seasons for hunting the sperm whale in particular latitudes, we can arrive at a surmise approaching to certainty concerning the likeliest day and upon what feeding ground to search for our prey.
But Moby Dick, sir, may not necessarily return to the same grounds twice.
Aye. But I have reduced possibilities to probabilities by consulting the old log books of 100 whaling ships. Look. Yeah. These areas, shaded in red, are his places of long abode, Mr. Starbuck. I know his habits as I know my own. So it is not so absurd and hopeless a task, after all, to seek out one solitary creature in the unhooped oceans of this planet. Aye, Starbuck. Though this Leviathan comes floundering down upon us from the headwaters of the eternities, and rearing upon the topmost crest of the equatorial flood, spouts his froth defiance to the skies, mine is the harpoon that will make him spout thick blood.
Perhaps, sir.
Not perhaps, but absolutely. Change the course at 4 bells in the second dog watch and make it southwest for south. Leave me to my calculations. They at least give me pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Tell the lookouts of the mastheads to skin their eyes for the white whale, or for white water. And if they see but a bubble, sing out.
Aye, aye, sir.
Some certain significance lurks in all things, else all things are little worth, and the round world itself but an empty cipher, except to sell by the cartload to fill a morass in the Milky Way. The golden coin offered by Ahab to the first to sight Moby Dick was of purest virgin gold, raked somewhere out of the heart of gorgeous hills, and though now nailed to the mainmast, yet untouchable and immaculate to any foulness, it still preserved its keto glow. Days, weeks passed, and under full sail the ivory Pequod swept down into the Pacific, that rolling of the midmost waters of the world, the tide-beating heart of the earth. And then one transparent blue morning, when the long-burnished sun glade on the waters seemed a golden finger laid across them enjoining some secrecy, high aloft in the cross trees, Kabako cried out,
Where away? All is in commotion.
Starboard! Strike the mainyard! Swing the boats out!
The cranes are thrust out. The mainyard backed. But look, 5 phantoms, for so they seem, are casting loose the tackles of the captain's boat on the other side of the deck.
Look, Mr. Starbuck. Where'd they come from? From below hatches. The ones I kept hearing. They're Chinamen. Yes. Stowaways and Ahab's boatmen.
The figure standing by the boat's prow is tall, with one white tooth evilly protruding from its steel-like lips. Ahab cries out to him.
All ready there, Padala?
Yes, Captain.
Lower away there, do you hear? You, starboard! Stop, and you others! Lower away there, I say!
With a swift rattle of blocks, the boats are striking the water. Hardly do they pull out from under the ship's lee when Ahab's boat pulls round under the stern, rowed by its sinister-looking crew.
Rest yourselves! Give way, all 4 boats! Now, starboard! Pull out more to leeward! It isn't Moby Dick, but get him anyway!
Aye, aye, sir. Lay back on the oars, men.
Oh.
There. There again. There she blows ahead, boys. Lay back.
They're off. Starbuck in the lead.
Pull. Pull, my fine hearts alive. Pull. Why don't you break your backbones, my boys? What is it you stare at? Those chaps in yonder boat? There are only 5 more hands come to help us someday against Moby Dick himself. So pull and never mind the smell of brimstone. Easy, easy. Don't be in a hurry. Why don't you snap your oars, you rascals? Bite something, you dogs. That's it, that's it. Long and strong. Stop snoring and pull, will you? Pull and start your eyes out. Spring, my men, spring! Sing out and say something, my hearty. That's it. Roar and pull, my thunderbolts. Reach me on that whale's back, boys. Steadily, lads. We're getting closer. Only pull, crack all your backbones, burst your livers and lungs. Give them the long and strong stroke. Raise the buried dead perpendicular out of their graves. Pull! Who's dropped an anchor overboard? Will you spit fire or not? Pull!
Furthest to windward, Ahab's tiger-yellow crew seems of steel and whalebone. Like 5 trip hammers, they rise and fall with regular strokes of strength. It happened. Ahab at the steering oar suddenly fell to one knee, and his rowers stopped. They're out of it. But not Starbuck. He continues to chase the whale, running dead to leeward.
Every man look out along his oars. Now, Queequeg, stand up.
With a bound, Queequeg springs to the bow, harpoon quivering in his hand.
There he is. Keep cool, men. Cucumbers is the word. We're slipping up on him, but keep pulling, nothing more. Softly. It ain't the white whale today. All right, Queequeg. Give it to him. He's hit it. No! Wet the line. He's rushing.
Every man clings to a seat as they shoot forward, pulled by the whale.
Hooray! This is the way to sail every cheerless Sunday. Haul in!
All hands are pulling the boat up to him, while yet they are being towed on. Now they're closer. Queequeg shoots dart after dart into the flying monster.
Pull up!
Red tides of blood pour from all sides of the monster. His tormented body rolls, not in brine, but in blood, which bubbles and seethes. Now he spouts. Again. Jet after jet of white smoke agonizingly shoot from the whale's spout hole.
Once more, Queequeg.
The whale surges from side to side, dilating his spout hole with sharp, cracking, agonized breaths. Red gore shoots into the air and runs dripping down the whale's flanks. His heart has burst.
He's dead, Mr. Starbuck.
Yes. His pipe smoked out. Though in many of its aspects, this visible world seems formed in love, the invisible spheres were formed in fright. Aye, at sea there were times of dreamy quietude, when beholding the tranquil beauty and brilliancy of the ocean's skin,
one forgets the tiger heart that pants beneath it. So, too, in pursuing the whale, Captain Ahab's ivory leg had received a half-splintering shock. He ordered the ship's carpenter to fashion a new one, and the next morning, Chips the carpenter went below to Ahab's cabin.
Come in, come in. Well, man maker?
If the captain pleases, I will now mark the length. Let me measure, sir.
Measured for a leg. Good. Well, it's not the first time. Go ahead, Chips.
Aye, sir. For most folks, one pair of legs lasts a lifetime.
But not for me, eh? I'm a hard driver. Is that it, Chips? Driven one leg to death and spavined the substitute. Now, I suppose I'll be wearing out bone legs by the cord.
I hope not, sir.
What's Prometheus doing? The blacksmith, I mean. I have a job for him, too.
He's forging the buckle screw for the leg, sir.
Right. It's a partnership, and he supplies the muscle parts. Between the two of you, I should order a complete man, built after a desirable pattern.
How is that, sir?
50 feet high in his socks. Chest modeled after the Thames Tunnel. Legs with roots to him to stay in one place. Arms 3 feet through the wrists, a brass forehead, and 1/4 of an acre of fine brains. And no heart. No heart at all.
I'm afraid I don't understand you, sir.
What art thou sneezing about?
Bone is rather dusty, sir.
Take a hint, then, and when thou art dead, don't bury thyself under living people's noses.
Sir?
So now I am debtor to a blockhead for a bone to stand on. Cursed be that mortal interindebtedness which will not do away with ledgers. I would be free as air, and I'm down in the whole world's books. Finish that measuring?
Aye, sir.
Come in, come in, come in. Come in, Mr. Starbuck. How long before this leg is done, Carpenter?
Oh, perhaps an hour, sir.
Well, bungle away at it and then bring it to me.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Tell the blacksmith to report to me and close that door after you. On deck, be gone.
Aye, aye, sir.
Well, what do you want this time, Starbuck?
We've been pumping the ship, and oil in the hold is leaking, sir. We must up the oil casks and break them out.
Heave to here for a week to tinker a parcel of old hoops?
Either do that, sir, or waste in one day more whale oil than we may make good in a year. What we come 20,000 miles to get is worth saving, sir.
So it is, so it is. If we get it.
I was speaking of the oil in the hold, sir.
And I was not speaking of the oil in the hold. Be gone. Let it leak.
Excuse me, sir.
I'm all a leak myself, Mr. Starbuck. Aye. Leaks in leaks. Not only full of leaky casks, but those leaky casks are in a leaky ship. Myself. And that's a far worse plight than the Pequod's man. Yet I don't stop to plug my leak. For who can find it in the deep, loaded hull? Or how hope to plug it even if found in this life's howling? No, Mr. Starbuck. I will not have the casks hoisted.
What will the owners say, sir?
Let the owners stand on Nantucket Beach and out yell the typhoons. What cares Ahab? Owners. Owners. Thou art always praising to me, Starbuck, about those miserly owners, as if the owners were my conscience. But look ye, the only real owner of anything is its commander. And hark ye, my conscience is in this ship's keel.
Captain Ahab, a better man than I might well pass over in thee what he would quickly enough resent in a younger man. Aye, and in a happier one, Captain Ahab.
Dost thou then so much as dare critically to think of me?
Shall we not understand each other better than hitherto, Captain Ahab?
There is one God that is Lord over the earth, and one captain that is Lord over the Pequod. On deck.
Very well, sir. Thou hast outraged, not insulted me, sir. But for that I ask thee not to fear me. Thou wouldst but laugh. But let Captain Ahab beware of Captain Ahab. beware of thyself.
What's that? Ahab, beware of Ahab. There's something there. Wait. Very well, Starbuck. Furl the topgallant sails and close reef the topsails fore and aft. Back the mainyard. Up with the casts and break out in the main hold.
Aye, aye, sir.
That'll be the blacksmith. Let him in.
Yes, sir.
Come in, Perth.
Thank you, Mr. Starbuck.
Well, come over here. Don't stand there trying to forge out a smile.
Aye, aye, sir. You sent for me, sir?
In no paradise myself, I am impatient of all misery in others that is not mad. Tell me, an old pike head with seams and dents in it, canst thou make it all smooth again, blacksmith?
I think so, sir.
And I suppose thou canst smooth almost any seams and dents, never mind how hard the material is, eh?
All seams and dents but one?
Aye. Look ye here, then. Can you smooth out a seam like this across and down my skull? Because if so, glad enough would I lay my head upon thy anvil and feel thy heaviest hammer between my eyes. Answer. Canst thou smooth this seam?
That is the one, sir. Said I not all seams and dents but one?
Aye, blacksmith. It is the one unsmoothable. Hark ye. I want a harpoon made, one that 1,000 yoke of fiends could not part. Something that will stick in a whale like his own fin bone. There you are. The gathered nail stubs of the steel shoes of racing horses to make it out of.
Horseshoe stubs, sir. Thou hast here the best and stubbornest stuff we blacksmiths ever worked.
Aye, I know it, old man. Those stubs will weld together like glue from the melted bones of murderers.
This is to be the harpoon for the white whale, sir?
For the white fiend. Now for the barbs. My razors. The best of steel. Here. Make the barbs sharp as the needle sleet of the icy sea.
Aye, sir.
And mind you, no water for tempering. I want my harpoon to be of the true death temper. So, we'll draw blood from the arm of Fadella, my own harpooner. Aye, tempered in the blood of that Chinese devil himself.
So the leg was measured, and the harpoon was made and tempered, and the whole world boomed before the wind as we swept across the robust and manlike sea that heaved with long, strong, lingering swells as Samson's chest in his sleep. And then one night, Ahab started from his slumbers and sought out Fadella, the phantom harpooner, who lay with unblinking eyes in the forecastle head.
Fadella,
Yeah, Captain.
I've dreamed it again.
Of the hearses?
Yes, of the hearses.
Have I not prophesied, Captain, that neither hearse nor coffin can be thine?
Aye. But who is put in a hearse that dies on the sea?
I prophesied that ere thou couldst die on this voyage, 2 hearses must be seen by thee on the sea. The first not made by mortal hands, and the visible wood of the last one must be grown in America.
Strange sight that, a hearse floating over the ocean with the waves for pallbearers. Such a sight we shall not soon see.
Thou canst not die till it be seen, Captain.
And what was that saying about thyself?
Though it come to the last, I shall still go before thee, thy pilot.
And when thou art so gone before, if that ever befalls, then ere I can follow, thou must still appear to me, to pilot me still? Was it not so?
Yes, Captain.
Well, then, my pilot, that makes 2 pledges that I shall yet slay Moby Dick and survive it.
hemp only can kill thee.
The gallows, you mean? I am immortal, then, on land and on sea. Immortal on land and on sea.
One more word about whaling, mateys, before I leave you tonight. Be economical with your lamps and candles. Not a gallon of whale oil ye burn, but at least one drop of man's blood was spilled for it, as you shall come to see in our deadly pursuit of Moby Dick.
Moby Dick by Herman Melville is one of the world's great novels, brought to you each week by the NBC University of the Air. Next week, be sure to listen to the third episode from Moby Dick, and remember that this and countless other great books are to be had in your local public library. To enhance your enjoyment of these broadcasts, NBC offers you Herbert Gorman's Handbook of the World's Great Novels. Just send 25 cents with your request to World's Great Novels, Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York 27, New York. Moby Dick is adapted for radio by Frederick Schlick. The music was composed by Emil Soderstrom and the orchestra directed by Bernard Berquist. The entire production was under the direction of Homer Heck. Ishmael is played by Everett Clark, Captain Ahab by Jess Pugh, and Starbuck by Donald Gallagher. Others were Joe Anthony, Boris Aplon, Cliff Norton, Art Peterson, and Cliff Subir. And this is Dave Garraway. The program came to you from Chicago and has been a presentation of the National Broadcasting Company and its independent affiliated stations. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
This is ChestertonRadio.com.
That best wish is peace on earth. Much of Reynolds' expanding aluminum production now goes to the defense of the nation, the defense of our free world. But the ultimate aim is peace, always. And the great destiny of light, strong, rust-proof Reynolds aluminum lies in peaceful progress. The Reynolds Metals Company looks forward to the day when all aluminum production can be turned to constructive uses. In a future when the inspired hope of Christmas shall be realized, and on earth, peace, goodwill toward men.
The world's great novels. Universally acclaimed as one of the superb tales of the sea is the story of a great white whale and of Captain Ahab's fatal monomania in pursuing it. The NBC University of the Air presents the third installment of a 4-part radio edition of Herman Melville's adventurous classic, Moby Dick, another in the series of books that live, the world's great novels. Pursuing its hunt for whales, and especially for the great white whale, Moby Dick, the Pequod plowed her way steadily towards that area where Captain Ahab felt sure to sight the object of his deadly pursuit. He was cheered and grimly amused by the prophecy of Fadella, his Chinese harpooner, who predicted that Ahab could not die until 2 hearses were seen on the waters. The first, not made by mortal hands, and the wood of the second, grown in America. Moreover, declared Fadella, only hemp could kill Ahab.
This is Ishmael again, mateys. Fore and aft, I say, the Pequod was a jolly ship, of good fare and plenty, fine flip and strong, crack fellows all, and capital from boot heels to hatband. Aye, except for Captain Ahab's one relentless purpose, which had entrapped us all. It was never out of his mind. Even in his sleep one night, I heard him cry out,
"Stern all! The white whale spouts thick blood!"
Well, if the currents ever carry you to those sweet beaches only beat with water lilies, you will know the days to which we now sail. Warm, clear, ringing, perfumed, overflowing, redundant days, like goblets of Persian sherbet flaked with rose-water snow. And yet, there was a sort of knell ringing in our hearts, like the continual tolling of a bell in a ship that is foundering at sea in a fog. To add to our suspense, an unpredictable series of events now took place. They began one day, hard upon high noon. Ahab was taking his wonted daily observation of the sun to determine our latitude. With his quadrant placed to his eye, he remained in that posture for some moments to catch the precise instant when the sun should gain its precise meridian. Making the observation, he looked back at the sun, then at his quadrant.
"Thou tellest me truly where I am, but not where I shall be. Foolish toy. Plaything of haughty admirals, commodores, and captains. What, after all, canst thou do but tell the poor, pitiful point where thou thyself happenest to be on this wide planet? Not one jot more. Thou canst not tell where one drop of water will be tomorrow noon. Curse thee, Quadrant. Thus I destroy you upon the deck. Smashed. No longer shall I guide my earthly way by thee. The ship's compass, and dead reckoning by log and line, these shall conduct me and show me my place on the sea. To the braces! Up helm! Square in!
By evening of that day, the Pequod was torn of her canvas, and bare pole was left to fight a typhoon which had struck her directly ahead.
A nasty night, Starbuck.
Aye.
All right, men, lash those boats.
Look out! Here comes a big one!
Hang on to the shrouds, men!
Look! Ahab's boat is stove in at the stern.
Like a sieve. A bad omen.
And the gale's from the eastern.
The course that Ahab is to run for Moby Dick. Who's there?
Ahab!
We must send down the main topsail yard, sir. Shall I strike it, sir?
Strike nothing. Lash it. If I had skysail poles, I'd sway them up now.
In God's name, sir.
Well?
Look, the anchors are working loose, sir. Shall I get them inboard?
Strike nothing, stir nothing. Lash everything. Do you take me for the hunchback skipper of some coasting smack? Send down my main topsail yards? Never. 'Tis for the fair wind, Starbuck.
Fair for death and doom, sir.
Loftiest trucks were made for wildest winds. And this brain truck of mine now sails aloft amid the cloud scud.
Forbear, Captain. 'Tis an ill voyage. Ill begun, ill continued.
I admit the speechless power of the storm. But to the last gasp of my earthquake life, Starbuck, I'll dispute it.
Let me square the yard, sir, while we still may, and make a fair wind of it homewards.
Avast, Starbuck. Glad obedience to my flat command. None but cowards send down their brain trucks in tempest time.
It struck us.
Where?
The compass. It struck the compass.
It's happened before, Starbuck.
But not to me, sir. Take warning, sir.
Never. Henceforth I shall be the compass. Look! Look, Starbuck! What a hooroosh is aloft there! I'd even take it for sublime Did I not know that the college is a noisy melody?
Some hours after midnight, the typhoon abated so much that through the strenuous exertions of Starbuck, the shivered remnants of the jib and fore and main topsails were cut adrift from the spars and went eddying away to leeward like the feathers of an albatross. Next morning, the not yet subsided sea rolled in slow billows of mighty bulk, and striving in the Pequod's gurgling track, pushed her on like giants' palms outspread. Suddenly, on the horizon, a ship was sighted.
Sail ho!
Where away?
3 points on the starboard bow, sir!
Man my boat! Stand by to lower!
In less than a minute, his boat and crew were dropped to the water, and were soon alongside of the stranger, which showed English colors. The stranger's captain was a burly, good-natured, fine-looking man of 60 or thereabouts. But what was most singular, he had one artificial arm made of sperm whale bone.
Ship ahoy! Has seen the white whale!
White whale!
Aye, has seen it!
See ye this arm of mine?
'Tis a match to my leg, Captain. I'm coming aboard.
1 minute, Captain. Jump, boys. Swing over the cutting tackle. Oh, yeah. Now, lower away. That's it. Hold it. Straddle the hook, Captain. Hoist him up, boys. As I walked out one morning fair to view the meadows round,
Steady!
there I spied a maiden fair come tripping o'er the ground.
Steady, boys, steady!
Blow, ye winds of morning. Blow,
Steady, she
ye
goes.
Clear away the morning dew and blow, boys.
Avast heaving, man, avast heaving. All right, swing him in.
Aye.
Gently. Over the bulwarks. There. Welcome aboard, Captain. I'm Captain Boomer.
Aye, Hardy. I'm Captain Ahab. Let us shake bones together, Captain. An arm and a leg. An arm that never can shrink and a leg that never can run.
I'd consider it an honor, sir, to treat you to a glass of fine Geneva in my cabin.
Very well, sir.
Steward, skip ahead and prepare the honors.
Oh, yeah.
Won't you join us, Dr. Bunger?
Delighted.
But, Captain, where didst thou see the white whale and how long ago?
1 month ago. Step right in, sir.
Aye.
Doctor.
Thank you.
Ah, that's right, Steward. That's the bottle. Sit down, Captain Ahab.
And he took that arm of yours off, did he?
Aye, he was the cause of it, at least. And your leg, too, eh?
Aye, but spin me the yarn. How was it?
Well, sir, it was the first time in my life that I'd ever cruised those waters. I was ignorant of the white whale at that time. That'll be all, Steward.
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
Well, one day we lowered for a pot of 4 or 5 whales, and my boat fastened to one of them.
Aye.
A regular circus horse he was, too. And went milling and milling around so that my boat's crew could only trim dish by sitting all their sterns on the outer gunwale.
Aye.
So presently, up breaches from the bottom of the sea a bouncing great whale with a milky white head and hump and crow's feet and wrinkles.
It was he.
Harpoon sticking in near his starboard fin.
They were mine. My irons. But go on.
Give me a chance then, man. Well, this old great-grandfather with the white head and hump runs all a foam into the pot and goes to snapping furiously at my fast line.
What to depart it? Free the fast fish. An old trick. I know him well.
This is the most excellent Geneva. And by the way, Captain, this is Dr. Bunger, ship surgeon. Bunger, my lad, the captain. Captain Ahab.
How do you do? But go on with the story.
Well, how it was exactly, I don't quite know. But in biting the line, it got foul of his teeth. Caught there somehow. But we didn't know it then. It was only when we pulled on the line, bounce, we came plump on his hump.
Would it have been me?
The other whale went off to windward, fluking. So seeing how matters stood and what a noble great whale it was, the noblest and biggest I ever saw, sir, in my life, I resolved to capture him, in spite of the boiling rage he seemed to be in.
I know that ugly rage of his.
And quick as a cat, I jumped into my first mate's boat, which, you see, was gunwale and gunwale with mine, and snatching the first harpoon, let this old great-grandfather have it.
You didn't kill him, did you?
Kill him. Heart and soul alive, man. The next instant, in a jiff, I was blind as a bat, both eyes befogged with black foam, and the whale's tail looming straight up in the air like a marble steeple.
That's what he did to me.
Too late to stern all then. But as I was groping after the second harpoon, down comes the tail like a Lima tower, cutting my boat in two, and flukes first the white hump back through the wreck as though it were all chips.
Hey, when that happened to me, I seized a line knife. Tried to kill him with a 6-inch blade.
And I struck out and tried to get away from him. Would have, too. Only when he went down like a flash, the barb of that cursed second iron towing along near me caught me here, right here on the shoulder, and bore me down to hell's flames, I was thinking. When all of a sudden, thank the good God, the barb ripped its way clear along the whole length of me arm, and up I floated. Now, Bunga boy, spin your part of the yarn.
Well, 'twas a shocking bad wound. On taking my advice, Captain Boomer here, stood our old Sammy off...
Samuel Enderby is the name of my ship.
Stood our
But
old...
go on, boy.
Stood our old Sammy off to the northward to get out of the blazing hot weather. But it was no use. How did all I could. Sat up with him nights, was very severe with him in the matter of diet.
Oh, very severe. Drinking hot rum toddies with me every night till he couldn't see to put on the bandages.
Oh, no.
Sending me to bed half seas over.
Oh, never.
Oh, a great watcher and very dietetically severe is Dr. Bunga.
Oh, now, Captain.
Bunga, you dog, laugh out, why don't you? You know you're a precious jolly rascal. But heave it, boy. I'd rather be killed by you than kept alive by any other man.
I might as well say now, en passant, as the French remark, that I myself, Jack Bunga, late of the Reverend Clergy, am a strict, total abstinence man. I never drink
water. He never drinks it. Fresh water throws him into the hydrophobia. But go on with the arm story.
I was about to observe, before Captain Boomer's facetious interruption, that in spite of my severest endeavors, his arm kept getting worse. And it was an ugly gaping wound, 2 feet and several inches long, and when it grew black, I knew what that threatened, and off it came. Well, that ivory arm of his there is the captain's work, not mine. He ordered the carpenter to make it with that club hammer on the end of it to knock someone's brains out with, I suppose, as he tried mine once.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. See this dent, Captain Ahab, in my skull? There. The captain will tell you how that came there. He knows.
He was born with it.
Oh,
you solemn rogue. You, Bunga. Was there ever such another Bunga in the watery world? Bunga, when you die, you ought to die in pickle, you dog. You should be preserved to future ages, you rascal.
But what became of the white whale?
Yes. Well, after he sounded, we didn't see him again for some time.
Didn't thou cross his wake again?
Twice.
But could not fasten?
Didn't want to try. Ain't one limb enough. What should I do without this other arm?
You might try giving him a chance at your left arm for bait to get back the right.
No, thank you, Bunga, my boy. He's welcome to the arm he has, since I can't help it and didn't know him then, but not another one. No more white whales for me. I've lowered for him once, and that has satisfied me.
Not me. Not me.
There would be great glory in killing him, I know that. And there's a shipload of precious sperm in him, but, hark ye, he's best let alone. Don't you think so, Captain Ahab?
Aye, he is. But he will still be hunted for all that. Besides, what is best let alone is not always what least allures. He's a magnet. How long since thou saw him last?
The day before yesterday.
What? 2 days ago, and me sitting here? I must go. Which way was he heading? Quick, man.
Good Lord, what's the matter? You crazy? Your blood's at the boiling point.
Which way was he heading?
South by west. Here, have another glass of wine.
Avast, I must go. Fidella! Fidella! Man the boat! Make haste! Make haste!
By heavens, Bunger lad. That man has a quaggy spot in him somewhere.
The next morning, the bodings of the crew were destined to receive a most plausible confirmation in the fate of one of their number. For at sunrise, this man went from his hammock to the masthead, and whether it was that he was not yet half waked from his sleep, he had not been long at his perch when a cry was heard. A cry and a rushing, and then white bubbles in the blue of the sea. The lifebuoy, a long, slender cask hanging aft, was dropped from the stern, but no hand rose to seize it. And the cask being warped, it filled and sank. Thus, the first man of the Pequod that went aloft to look out for the white whale on the white whale's own peculiar ground, that man was swallowed up in the deep, and the lost lifebuoy was now to be replaced.
Carpenter,
Aye, Mr. Starbuck.
when Queequeg was sick last month, you made him a special coffin.
I made a leg for Captain Ahab, and he wears it like a gentleman. But when I made the bandbox for Queequeg, he refused to die and gets well when he sees it. And all my pains went for nothing with that coffin.
Where is it now?
Stowed away, sir, in case he changes his mind.
I want you to make a lifebuoy out of that coffin.
Ah, a life boy, sir, out of a coffin?
Now, it'll make a good enough one, and you can do it easily, so rig it, Carpenter. So hear me? Rig it.
And shall I nail down the lid, sir?
Aye.
And shall I caulk the seams, sir?
Aye.
And shall I then pay over the same with pitch, sir?
What possesses thee? Make a lifebuoy of the coffin and no more.
Nail down the lid. Caulk the seams. Pay over the same with pitch. Batten them down tight. And hang it with the snap spring over the ship's stern. Mr. Starbuck, sir, if I was superstitious like some folks, I wouldn't crupper myself with a coffin. Well, I'll have me 30 separate lifelines, each 3 feet long, hanging all around to the coffin. Then if the ship goes down, there'll be 30 lively fellows all fighting for one coffin. Sight not seen very often beneath the sun, Mr. Starbuck. Not very often, sir.
That same day, slowly crossing the deck from the scuttle, Ahab leaned over the side and watched how his shadow in the water sank to his gaze, the more that he strove to pierce the salty profundity. But the enchanted air seemed to dispel for a moment the cankerous thing in his soul. Starbuck saw him, saw how heavily he leaned over the side, and careful not to intrude, yet drew near and stood there. Ahab turned.
Starbuck.
Sir?
It's a mild wind and a mild-looking sky. On just such a day as this, I struck my first whale. A boy harpooner of 18.
I, too, can remember the first day I used a harpoon.
And all the years since of continual whaling. Years of privation, peril, and storm time. Years on this pitiless sea, forsaking the peaceful land to make war on the horrors of the deep. Aye. Where lies the final harbor, whence we unmoor no more? In what rapt ether sails the world, of which the weariest will never weary?
Captain Ahab, sir.
When the poorest landsman has had fresh fruit to his daily hand and has broken the world's fresh bread, I have fed on moldy crusts. Aye, oceans away from my wife, whom I wedded, then sailed for Cape Horn next day. Wife? Rather a widow with her husband alive. I widowed that poor girl when I married her, Starbuck.
Why not return now, Captain?
I feel sometimes as though I were Adam, staggering beneath the piled centuries since paradise. Starbuck, you have a wife waiting for you back in Nantucket, too, and mark you. I want you to stay on board when the boats lower to give chase to Moby Dick. That hazard shall not be thine.
Oh, Captain, why should anyone give chase to that hated fish? Let us fly these deadly waters. Sail for home, for old Nantucket.
Too late. Listen, Starbuck. We have turned round and round in this world like yonder windlass, and fate is the handspike. And there's an inscrutable, unearthly thing, hidden and cruel, that commands me. Keeps jamming me ahead against all natural longings. But it's a mild wind and a mild sky. Air smells as if it blew from a faraway meadow. Perhaps they've been making hay somewhere under the slopes of the Andes, and the Moors are sleeping in the fields. Aye. Toil we how we may, we all sleep at last upon the fields. Aye, and rust amid greenness, as last year's scythes flung down and left in the half-cut swaths. So you see, Starbuck, we must live in the game, and if necessary, die in it.
A few hours later, a large ship, the Rachel, was descried, bearing directly down upon the Pequod, all her spars thickly clustered with men. As the broad-winged windward stranger drew nigh, she struck her sails, and her commander was seen being lowered away in his boat. His boathook soon clinched the Pequod's main chain, and he sprang to the deck.
Has seen the white whale, Captain?
Today.
Hey, what is he? Not killed. Not killed, man. How was it?
I am Captain Gardner of the Rachel, and I need your help desperately.
Quick, tell me the white whale.
3 of our boats engaged with a shoal of whales about 5 miles from my ship. When all of a sudden, to windward, the whale they call Moby Dick loomed up in the other direction.
In which direction?
Dead south.
Starboard! Brace forward! Up helm!
Wait! Wait, Captain, I haven't told you all. My son, a lad but 12 years old, was in the boat that lowered to give chase to Moby Dick.
Ah, so that's why you had every other man aloft on the lookout.
Yes. Their boat was towed out of sight by the white whale, and we've been searching ever since. 12 years old the boy was.
He must face his perils like everyone else.
No, I beg of you, Captain. Let me charter your ship. I will gladly pay for it to join me in the search. You must, and you shall do this for me. Yes, you relent, I see it. Run, men, now, and stand by to square in the yards.
Avast! Touch not a rope yarn. Captain Gardiner, I will not do it. Even now I lose time. Goodbye. God bless you, man, and may I forgive myself, but I must go.
But I beg of you, sir.
Mr. Starbuck, look at the binnacle watch, and in exactly 3 minutes warn off all strangers. Then brace forward again, and let the ship sail dead south as before.
Aye, aye, sir.
Moby Dick is within our reach at last, and nothing can stop me now.
Captain Gardner silently returned to his boat, and soon the two ships diverged their wakes, and long as the strange vessel, the Rachel, was in view, she was seen to yaw hither and thither at every dark spot, however small, on the sea. But by her still halting course and winding woeful way, you plainly saw that this ship that so wept choked with spray, still remained without comfort. She was Rachel weeping for her children because they were not. I was to see her again, mateys, under terrifying circumstances.
Moby Dick by Herman Melville is one of the world's great novels, brought to you each week by the NBC University of the Air. Next week, be sure to hear the final episode from Moby Dick, and remember that this and countless other great books are to be had in your local public library. To enhance your enjoyment of these broadcasts, NBC offers you Herbert Gorman's Handbook of the World's Great Novels. Just send 25 cents with your request to World's Great Novels, Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York 27, New York. Remember that address. It's World's Great Novels, Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York 27. Moby Dick is adapted for radio by Frederick Schlick. The music composed by Emil Soderstrom of the orchestra, directed by Bernard Berquist. The entire production was under the direction of Homer Heck. Ishmael is played by Everett Clark, Captain Ahab by Jess Pugh, and Starbuck by Donald Gallagher. Others were Maurice D. Copeland, Gilbert Ferguson, George Kluge, Sherman Marks, Clifford Norton, and Arthur Peterson. And this is Dave Garraway. The program came to you from Chicago and has been a presentation of the National Broadcasting Company and its independent affiliated stations. Death on our highways is increasing. National Safety Council figures show that traffic accidents have been mounting since the end of the war. Smash-ups have reached more and more. 1 a minute, all day, every day of the year. And during this winter season, the danger is even greater. So whether you ride or walk, be careful. Cats may have 9 lives, but remember, you have only one. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
There are people in most countries who would like to live in the Republic of the United States or the Dominion of Canada, where that good Olga coal is sold. The citizens of our free countries are the envy of many people elsewhere because of the personal freedom which we have enjoyed. Why, then, doesn't every country adopt a form of free government? One answer is that, unfortunately, there are people and parties in many nations who are so greedy for power that they will sacrifice the freedom of their fellow countrymen to obtain power for themselves. History, even recent history, is replete with such instances. That is why the citizens of the Republic of the United States and the Dominion of Canada must be careful to recognize at its very beginning any movement to steal or limit their freedom. That is not always easy. The man who would enslave a free people doesn't begin by saying, "Now I'm going to be your dictator." Instead, he probably will claim that he is a devoted supporter of personal freedom, but all the while he will support policies that weaken and undermine personal freedom. Such a man will deny any totalitarian aims, but free citizens must not be deceived by such denials. Apparently, it is a cardinal principle of every sincere totalitarian that he is justified in lying, if such lies will advance his plans. In these times, no public figure and no party or organization supporting such a person can be accepted without careful consideration. Every public figure and organization must be carefully scrutinized, and if their real aims are to limit or to destroy our freedom as individuals, they must be opposed and defeated.
This is Chesterton Radio, your home for podcasts of works by G.K. Chesterton, plus drama, comedy, mystery, science fiction, big bands, and much more. The soundtrack to your Chesterton day at chestertonradio.com.
The world's great novels. Universally acclaimed as one of the superb tales of the sea is the story of a great white whale and of Captain Ahab's fatal monomania in pursuing it. The NBC University of the Air presents the fourth installment of a four-part radio edition of Herman Melville's adventurous classic, Moby Dick, another in the series of books that live, the world's great novel. Refusing to give aid to Captain Gardner of the Rachel, in search for Gardner's son, who had been lost but a few hours before in an encounter with Moby Dick himself, Captain Ahab ordered all sails bent in instant pursuit of the great white whale. And when last seen astern, the Rachel continued tacking to and fro in despairing search for its loss.
This is Ishmael again, ladies. That night, in the mid-watch, when Captain Ahab stepped forth from the scuttle in which he leaned, he suddenly sniffed the air and declared that a whale must be near. Soon that peculiar odor given forth by the living sperm whale was palpable to all the watch. Ascertaining the precise bearing of the odor as nearly as possible, Ahab ordered the ship's course to be slightly altered and the sail to be shortened. His acuteness was vindicated at daybreak by the sight of a long sleek on the sea directly ahead, smooth as oil, with pleated, watery wrinkles bordering it like polished metallic marks of some swift tide rip. Flattening his face to the sky, Ahab called to the watch high overhead in the cross trees.
Hello up there! What do you see?
Nothing, sir!
Starboard! Topgallant sails, stunsails, alow and aloft on both sides. Man the mastheads. Call all hands.
Aye, aye, sir.
All sail being set, Ahab now cast loose the lifeline, reserved for swaying him to the main royal masthead. In a few minutes they were hoisting him thither. 2/3 of the way aloft, he suddenly raised a gull-like cry in the air.
There she blows! There she blows! A hump like a snow hill! It's Moby Dick!
The men on deck rushed to the rigging to behold the famous whale they have so long pursued. Look, Ahab has now gained his final perch some feet above the other lookouts.
And did none of you see it before, men?
I saw him almost the same instant, sir.
Hey, but not the same instant. Not the same. So the $20 gold piece is mine. Fate reserved it for me. I alone. None of you could have raised the white whale first. There she blows! There she blows!
Aye, look at it. The appalling beauty of the vast milky mass is lit up by the spangling sun, shifts and glistens like a living opal in the blue morning sea. Now Ahab lowers himself swiftly. He reaches the deck.
He's going to sound. Starboard, in stunsails. Down topgallant sails.
Aye, aye, sir.
You, Stubb, have the boat swung out. 3 of them.
Aye, aye, sir. All right, step lively, lad. First the cranes out. Lively there, I said.
The cranes swing out, and now the sails are being reefed. All hands are moving at top speed.
Mr. Starbuck.
Aye, aye, sir.
Yes, sir.
Remember, Starbuck, stay on board and keep the ship.
Very well, sir.
Helm there. Luff a point. So, steady, man, steady. Mr. Stubb, all ready the boats there?
Ready, sir?
Moby Dick's heading straight to leeward, sir, away from us. He can't have seen the ship yet.
Be dumb, man. Stand by the braces. Hard down the helm. Brace up. Shiver there. Shiver there. So, well done that. Man the boats, man.
Now they're manning the boats. Ahab, with his heathen crew led by his sinister Chinese harpooner Fadala, run to the captain's boat.
Lower away, Starbuck.
Aye, aye, sir.
Quick. Quicker.
Aye, aye, sir.
Quicker.
The rattle of blocks and tackles as the boats now drop to the water.
Set the boatsails.
Aye, aye, sir.
Mark you. We'll have no talking, men. No shouting. When you lay on the oars, lay quietly. Understand? I'll head the onset. Stand by the oars. Give way together. We lead out, Fadala.
Yes, Captain.
A pale death glimmer lights up Fadala's sunken eyes. A hideous motion gnaws his mouth. Now the prows are moving silently through the sea, slowly nearing the foe. Only the oars are heard. The ocean is as smooth as a carpet. Moby Dick seems completely unsuspecting. Now his entire dazzling hump is distinctly visible, sliding through the sea ringed with greenish foam.
Way enough. Sailors.
Far out on the soft Turkish-rugged sea glistens the white shadow from the whale's broad, milky forehead, and behind him the blue waters flow into the moving valley of his steady wake.
Look at him, Fadala. Not the white bull Jupiter swimming away with ravaged Europa clinging to his graceful horns. Did surpass Moby Dick. Aye, so peaceful, thou vesture of tornadoes. Yet calm. Enticing calm, thou glidest on, O whale. Thou glidest on no matter how many thou hast bejuggled and destroyed before. But I know you, Moby Dick. I, Ahab, know the deadly terror of that submerged jaw. He rises. Quick, my harpoon.
For a moment, the whale's whole marbleized body forms a high arch. His bannered flukes wave in the air as though in warning. He sounded, gone under, disappeared from sight.
Too late. He sounded without warning. Stand by to reef.
Captain, the seagulls.
Seagulls are circling Ahab's boat, wheeling round and round with expectant cries.
What do they see?
Peering overboard, Ahab suddenly glimpses a white living spot no bigger than a white weasel swiftly uprising.
It's Moby Dick. Look, Fadala. Look. His white glistening teeth floating up from the undiscoverable bottom.
The glittering mouth yawns beneath the boat like an open-doored marble tomb. With his steering oar, Ahab hurls the craft powerfully aside.
Stand by to stern. Fadala, my harpoon.
Too late. With almost malicious intelligence, Moby Dick again slides his head beneath the boat. He's taking the boat's bows full within his mouth. His jaws loom high up into the air on each side, the inside of the jaws within 6 inches of Ahab's head.
Thus I spit down your very throat.
But Ahab can't get at him with his harpoon. Moby Dick is shaking the boat gently like a cat with a mouse. He's dallying with it. They're doomed.
He's going to snap the boat. Jump, men. Jump, Fadala.
Like enormous shears, Moby Dick's jaws have cut the boat in twain. Now he's swimming around the men in circles. He seems maddened. The other two boats are helpless to come to their succor. Where's Ahab? There he is, his head like a bubble in the very heart of the whirlpool. Moby Dick is circling closer, and Ahab seems to be the object of his terrible circling. He's crying out.
Sail on! Sail on! The whale! Starbuck! Drive him off!
Starbuck's doing it. The Pequod's prow is breaking up the deadly circle. They're saved. Moby Dick is swimming sullenly away. Now the boats are speeding to the rescue.
Here we are, sir. All right, catch hold of him, men. Steady. Easy now. There.
Never mind me. The harpoon. Is it safe?
Aye, sir. Caught to that bit of wreckage there.
Any missing men?
None, sir.
Good. Help me up, Stubb. I wish to stand.
Aye, sir.
So I see him. There, going to leeward still. What a leaping spout. Hands off from me. The eternal sap runs into my bones again. Here comes the Pequod. Douse the sails. Out oars.
Aye, sir.
Completely splintered my boat.
Like the thistle did to the ass, it pricked his mouth too keenly, sir.
What soulless thing is this that laughs before a wreck? Did I not know thee brave as fire, I'd swear thou wert a poltroon.
Oh, aye, sir. 'Tis a solemn sight. An omen. And a bad one.
Stifle that old wives' darkling hint. Mankind either sweats with fear like Starbuck or laughs like you. Ahab stands alone among the millions of the people there. For I, the wind, I'd blow no more on such a miserable world. Back to the ship, and after Moby Dick again. Aye,
My harpoon will yet taste the sweet flavor of his blood.
Back aboard the ship, Ahab ordered her canvas stacked high up and sideways, outstretching it with stunsails. The ship tore on, leaving such a furrow in the sea as when a cannonball becomes a plowshare and turns up the level field. The day wore on to twilight.
How now, aloft there? You see him?
Cannot see this boat now, sir. Too dark.
How heading when last seen?
As before, sir. Straight to north.
Hear that, Starbuck? He'll travel slower now this night. Down royals. Helm there. Keep her full before the wind. Men, this gold is mine, for I earned it. But I shall let it abide here till the white whale is dead. And whosoever first raises him upon the day shall be killed. This gold is his. And if I again raise him on that day, then 10 times its sum shall be divided among all of them.
So saying, Ahab placed himself halfway within the scuttle, and slouching his hat, stood there till dawn, except at intervals rousing himself to see how the night wore on. At daybreak, we were again thrilled with the cry.
I knew it. I knew it. He can't escape. Blow on and split your spout, O whale. The mad fiend himself is after you. Blow your trump. Blister your lungs. Ahab will dam off your blood as a miller shuts his water gate upon the stream.
The men seem as one, welded into oneness by the sight of Ahab, and directed to that fatal goal which he points to. Suddenly, Moby Dick bursts into view less than a mile ahead. Rising with his utmost velocity, the sperm whale thus booms his entire bulk into the air in a mountain of dazzling foam, showing his place to the distance of 7 miles and more. Such breaching is his act of defiance.
Aye, breach your last to the sun, Moby Dick. Thy hour and the harpoon are at hand. Down! Down, all of you, from the mast! But one man at the fore! The boats! Stand by!
The men, like shooting stars, slide to the deck. Ahab stumps rapidly to the spare boat, followed by his phantom crew. The boats are manned.
Mr. Starbuck, the ship is thine. Keep away from the boats, but keep near them.
Aye, aye, sir.
Lower away.
Moby Dick has turned. He's heading towards the 3 boats.
Spread yourselves. We're pulling straight up to his forehead.
The white whale's coming. He's charging. He's rushing among the boats with open jaws, lashing out with his tail in appalling battle.
Death to Moby Dick! Oh, whale! Here's the harpoon!
They're trying to elude him, but the whale is everywhere, twisting and turning. He's tangled the harpoon lines. He's dashing 2 of the boats together. They smash like eggshells. Now he's sounded. Moby Dick dives down into the sea. He's disappeared in a boiling maelstrom. The 2 crews are clinging to the oars and line tugs. They're afraid of the sharks. Ahab stands in the prow of his own boat with another harpoon, waiting. Moby Dick shot up from the depths and struck Captain Ahab's boat with his broad forehead. It's turning over and over in the air. Now it's fallen gunwale downwards. Ahab and his men struggle out from under it like seals. There he goes. Moby Dick is satisfied this time. He's swimming away to leeward, trailing after him the entangled harpoon lines. God help me, where will all this end? As before, the Pequod bore down to the rescue, dropping a boat to pick up the floating mariners. Last aboard was Captain Ahab himself, who had to be helped on deck, for instead of standing by himself,
He half hung upon the shoulder of Starbuck. His ivory leg had been snapped off, leaving but one short, sharp splinter.
Aye, Starbuck, 'tis sweet to lean sometimes, be the leaner who he will. Would I had leaned oftener than I have.
No bones broken, sir, I hope.
Only this dead one. Splintered to pieces. You, Carpenter.
Aye, aye, sir.
Tonight, make me a new leg.
Eh?
And this time, fashion it out of a piece of steel pipe.
Aye, sir.
Aloft there! Which way?
Dead to leeward, sir.
Up helm, then. Stubb, pile on the sail again. Down the rest of the spare boats and rig them.
Yes, sir.
Oh. How this splinter gores me.
Let me help thee toward the bulwark, sir.
Give me something for a cane. That shivered lance will do there, Starbuck.
Aye, sir.
There. There. Where is he? Oh, no. By heaven, it can't be. Fadala! Fadala! Speak up!
All right, lad. Stand by to shake out the reef. Hoist away.
Fadala!
I saw him caught among the tangles of your line, sir.
The black vomit rents thee. Find him. Not gone. Oh. Aye. Gone.
Yes, I saw him dragged under.
Gone. What means that? Oh, my harpoon, too. Toss over the litter there. Toss over the litter. Do you see it?
Aye, sir.
The forged iron, Starbuck.
Yes, sir.
No. Oh, blistered fool, this own hand of mine did dart it. 'Tis in the fish. Aloft there! Keep him nailed!
Aye, aye, sir.
Starbuck, put all hands to the rigging of fresh boats. Collect the oars. New irons for the harpooners. Stubb, hoist those royals higher and put all the sheets.
Aye, aye, sir.
Helm! Helm there! Steady! Steady for your life! I'll 10 times girdle the unmeasured globe. Yea, and drive straight through it! But I'll slay Moby Dick yet.
Captain, never wilt thou capture him. 2 days chased, twice stove to splinters, thy very leg once more snatched from under thee. Fadala, thy evil shadow gone, and all good angels mobbing thee with warnings. What more wouldst thou have? Shall we keep chasing this murderous fish till he swamps the last man?
Starbuck, in this matter of the whale, be the front of thy face to me as the palm of my hand. A lifeless blank. Ahab is forever Ahab. Why, you fool, 'twas rehearsed 1 billion years before this ocean rolled. I am fate's lieutenant. I act under orders. And look thou, hireling, that thou obeyest mine. I may be cut to a stump and leaning on a shivered lance, but Ahab's soul's a centipede that moves about 100 legs. And ere I break, you'll hear me crack. And ere you hear that, know that Ahab's hawser tows his purpose yet. Moby Dick will rise once more, Starbuck, but only to spout his last.
God keep us all, sir, but my bones feel damp within me.
So Fadala's gone. And he was to go before me, according to his prophecy, but still was to be seen again, ere I could perish. How's that, Starbuck? There's a riddle now might baffle all the lawyers.
Fadala, harpooner in Captain Ahab's boat, the mysterious Oriental that seemed to hold such sway over the captain's thoughts, had made unto Ahab a strange and cryptic prophecy.
I prophesy that ere thou canst die on this voyage, 2 hearses must be seen by thee on the sea. The first not made by mortal hands, and the visible word of the last must be gone in America. And though it come to the last, I shall still go before thee, thy pilot. Ere thou canst follow, I must still appear to thee, to pilot thee still. Know ye also, Captain Ahab, that hemp alone can kill thee.
Once more the sail was shortened, and all night the men toiled by lanterns, rigging the spare boats and sharpening fresh weapons for the morrow. And the carpenter made Ahab another leg. The morning of the third day dawned fair and fresh, and again it was Ahab who was the first to cry out,
Aloft there! What do you see?
Nothing, sir!
Nothing, sir. And the gold piece goes a-begging. Starbuck. I've oversailed him. Forgot the harpoons he's towing. They've slowed him down. So now he's chasing me, not I him. Turn the ship about. Man the braces.
Aye, aye, sir.
Smile, Starbuck. We shall meet him soon.
An hour passed, gold beaten out to ages. Time itself now held her long breaths with keen suspense. And then, 3 points off the weather bow, Ahab descried the spout again.
Aye, there he is. Forehead to forehead I meet thee this third time, Moby Dick. Stand by to reef, Starbuck. He'll be here soon.
Yes, sir. Stand by to reef, Mr. Stubb.
Stand by the reef, lad.
Lively there, men, or I'll tap one of you with a top ball.
Now they're reefing the sails. The whale hunters are once again manning their boats and swinging them out preparatory to lowering away.
To Starbuck.
Sir?
Starbuck, for the third time. I start upon this same voyage.
Aye, sir. Thou wilt have it so.
Some ships sail from their ports, and ever afterwards are missing, Starbuck.
Truth, sir. Saddest truth.
Some men die at ebb tide, some at low water, some at the full of the flood. And I feel like a billow that's all one crested comb, Starbuck. Shake hands with me.
Go not, sir. Go not, I beg you.
Nonsense. Lower away. Stand by the crew.
They're off again. Ahab in the lead. Starbuck seems nervous.
Aloft there. Keep thy keenest eye upon the boats. Mark well the whale.
Sharks following the captain's boat, sir!
Oh, is this our journey's end?
The white whale has sounded, but Ahab holds his way to be near him at the next rising. The head waves hammer against the bow of his boat.
Drive in your nails, O ye waves. To their uttermost heads, drive them in. Ye but strike a thing without a lid. No coffin and no hearse can be mine. Hemp only can kill me.
There he is, Moby Dick. His vast form shoots up from the sea.
Give way, men.
Captain, look! There's Fadala!
Lashed around one of the harpoons sticking out of the whale's back is Fadala. His dead, distended eyes are turned full upon Ahab.
Aye, Fadala. I see thee again, and thou goest before. And this whale, then, is the hearse that thou didst promise. But I hold thee to the last letter of thy word. Where is the second hearse? Back to your oars, men. The first to jump from this boat, I harpoon. Where's the whale? Gone down again?
No, he's still on the surface, swimming slowly away.
Captain, the sharks crunch on the oars.
Heed them not, pull on. 'Tis the better rest, the shark's jaw, than the yielding water.
But the blades are growing smaller, sir.
They'll last long enough. Pull on. Aye, all alive now. We near him. Hey, my harpoon. Softly now. Softly.
They're ranging along the whale's flank. Ahab stands in the prow, his body arched, both arms high lifted with the harpoon. He's going to throw it.
Clearly into the socket!
Moby Dick writhes and wheels round to present his blank forehead at bay. What's happening? He sees the black hull of the Pequod. He's going to attack it. Starbuck sees him. He's coming this way. He's going to attack. He's smashed in the Pequod's starboard bow. Torrents of water pouring into the ship. She's going down.
My ship, the hearse. The second hearse. Its wood could only be American. All ye sweet powers of the air now hug me close. Death, glorious ship, must you then perish
and without me. Oh, lonely death on lonely life. Oh, from all your furthest bounds pour ye now in, ye bold billows of my whole forgone life, and top this one piled coma of my death. Towards thee I come, thou all-destroying but unconquering whale. To the last I grapple with thee. From hell's hot, I the snap at thee. I spit my last breath at thee. Thus I give up the spear.
He darts his harpoon. Stricken tail flies forward, and he's fouled the line. Ahab stoops to clear it. He does. Wait. It's caught him around the neck. He's shooting through the air. He strikes the water. He's disappeared into the ocean's depths.
And I only am escaped alone to tell thee, mateys. Like a phantom, the ship stood on end, then dove to her watery grave, and sucking concentric circles, seized the boats, the men, the floating oars, the lance poles, everything animate and inanimate, round and round one vortex, carrying the smallest chip of the Pequod down out of sight. Floating on the margin of it, the half-spent suction reached me and drew me towards the gurgling bubble of its axis. Suddenly, the coffin lifebuoy shot up from the sea, fell over, and floated by my side, and I seized it. The next day, a sail drew nearer, and picked me up at last. It was the devious cruising Rachel that in her retracing search after her missing children only found another orphan.
Moby Dick by Herman Melville is one of the world's great novels. Brought to you each week by the NBC University of the Air. Next week, we will present a dramatization of The Old Wives' Tale by Arnold Bennett. Remember that these and countless other great books are to be had in your local public library. To enhance your enjoyment of these broadcasts, NBC offers you Herbert Gorman's Handbook of the World's Great Novels. Just send 25 cents with your request to World's Great Novels, Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York 27, New York. I'll repeat that address. World's Great Novels, Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York 27. Moby Dick was adapted for radio by Frederick Slick. The music was composed by Amos Soderstrom, and the orchestra was directed by Bernard Berquist. The entire production was under the direction of Homer Heck. Ishmael was played by Everett Clark, Captain Ahab by Jess Pugh, and Starbuck by Donald Gallagher. Others were Joe Anthony, Boris Apollon, Gil Ferguson, Cliff Norton, and Arthur Peterson. This is John Conrad. This program came to you from Chicago and has been a presentation of the National Broadcasting Company and its independent affiliated stations. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Ladies and gentlemen, a long time ago it was written that man shall not live by bread alone. In this often quoted line from the Bible, bread is merely a symbol of all material values. And although we in America have the greatest material advantages in the world, they are not enough to bring us complete happiness. We must find that happiness in our spiritual as well as our material lives, in faith as well as bread. In America, one of our most precious heritages is the right to worship as we please, to know the spiritual pleasures of our churches and synagogues. The doors of your places of worship stand open to you, and your religious leaders will welcome you to their services. They also offer you personal and family guidance and the opportunity to become a firm part of your community. Through our churches and synagogues, that community and the families within it can find stability. And as an individual, you can find the peace that only religion can bring. Thus, the religious organizations of America invite you to find yourself through faith and come to church this week. Good night.
This is Chesterton Radio, your home for podcasts of works by G.K. Chesterton, plus drama, comedy, mystery, science fiction, big bands, and much more. The soundtrack to your Chesterton day at chestertonradio.com.
Family Theater presents Celeste Holm, Dane Clark, and Henry Hull. From Hollywood, the Mutual Network, in cooperation with Family Theater Incorporated, brings you Henry Hull as Captain Ahab and Dane Clark as Ishmael in Herman Melville's familiar classic, Moby Dick. To introduce the drama, your hostess, Celeste Holm.
Thank you, Jean. When the good ship Highlander weighed anchor in New York for Liverpool in 1837, it was indeed a momentous and fortunate event in the history of American literature. For it was then that a lad of 17 set out upon the 8 years of seafaring that were to take him to the faraway reaches of the seven seas. This young man was Herman Melville, who began and ended his 72 years in New York, and with his writing built a lasting monument to America's literary genius. Of his 8 successful works, the 7th, alive with Melville's sense of beauty and of terror, was titled Moby Dick. In recounting the story of Moby Dick, the white whale, Melville inspires the longing for and respectful awe of the sea in each generation. And now, with sincere pleasure, I invite you to listen to Dane Clark as Ishmael, recounting the fanatic and tragic hunt of Henry Hull's Captain Ahab for Moby Dick, the white whale. It is now weeks since the Nantucket whale ship Pequod turned southward from her Massachusetts anchorage. And aboard her, the ship and crew have settled down to the monumental monotony of a ship's routine. A monotony that welds the crew into one mind, one force to be driven by the words of its captain. A monotony that finds relief in endless speculation about the days to come. And often as the sinking sun changes the deep blue water to evening's gray, their talk becomes graver, one of whispers among small clusters of men. For to the crew of the Pequod, who have yet to see their captain, even now the ship seems to have set sail upon a journey of darkening destiny.
Call me Ishmael. For though a seaman has no need for a name in the records of time, I am also of the land. And to it I have returned since the fateful days of the old Pequod and her captain and crew. I was of that crew. Aye, and there were the mate, Starbuck, the dour Nantucket man, and Stubb, neither a craven or a bold man, withal lazy and easy of smile. There were the harpooners, for the Pequod was a whale ship, and we were whalers all. And then there was Queequeg, the South Sea islander who brought me to the Pequod. For the stories he spun of the mammoth whales in distant waters persuaded me to sign aboard the Pequod with him. And with him I now shared my watches upon the afterdeck, still awaiting my first glimpse of the man who captained the stout whaling ship. It worries me sore, Queequeg. Here it is a week we've been to sea, and nary a sight nor a sound of the captain.
Yeah.
Grunt if you will, for you've no interest to save for your harpoons and that monstrous tomahawk pipe at your belt. But I tell you, it's unnatural. That's what it is.
Maybe he no like walk deck now.
He might find it a bit difficult to get about the deck, what with one leg and all, but even then he should have shown himself to the crew. It's no secret among the crew. He must know that, Queequeg. Still in all, I wonder how a man feels when he's lost a leg to a whale.
Him think only about day he catch up with white whale Moby Dick. Me think we no like it on Pequod until he does. Maybe no like it even then.
Now, indeed, I should like to see this man whose thirst for vengeance is so great. Do you suppose that's why we're carrying a secret crew aboard? Oh, I know, and none has seen it, but every night you hear whispers of them in the forecastle.
I no see strange men. I no listen, forecastle.
Well, the steward said there were others aboard, but no one's seen them. Now, Queequeg, do you suppose... Shh. Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Queequeg? It must be the captain.
Him walk like that 2-3 minutes. You not hear?
Oh, I've not your heathen ears, my friend. Listen. Oh, faith, it's an eerie sound in the night. Shh. He's coming towards us.
My poor pipe. Even you have failed me now. Then you were meant for sereneness, not to send up your mild white vapors among troubled, torn, gray locks like mine. If I could but forget. Forget. I must. Alas, my pipe, there's no longer pleasure in even you. Here, go and join the devils of the sea. Aye, and mayhap there'll yet be company for you there, sent from the Pequod with the compliments of her master, Captain Ahab.
All hands on deck! All hands on deck! All hands on deck!
What's the stir, Mr. Stubb? Trouble?
It's the captain, man. Captain Ahab wishes to meet his crew. Here now, men. You think I said old Nick himself were here to greet you. There's no need to be afraid. Attention! Men, do you see this? It's gold. Whoever of you raises me a white-headed whale with a wrinkled brow and a crooked jaw, a white monster with 3 holes in his starboard fluke, he shall have this ounce of Spanish gold I've nailed to the mast. And I promise that one of you shall win it, for we'll not see port again until I have killed the monster that crippled me.
Then did we ship to hunt Moby Dick the white whale?
Aye, Starbuck. It was that accursed white whale that dismasted me. And I'll chase him through the southern ice floes. There I'll give him up.
I cannot speak for the crew, Captain Ahab, but I came here to hunt whales, not my commander's vengeance.
And I, mister, came to hunt Moby Dick. And I shall wreak my hate upon him, nor shall any of you stand between me and that goal. That, Mr. Starbuck, I promise you.
And so we sailed on. But now we were a cold ship, a ship ridden with hate, prey to the daily increasing uneasiness as more and more one heard talk of a secret crew aboard, yet none saw them. Aye, we were a ridden ship, fearfully awaiting the day when the lookout would first cry, Queequeg! Those men, there has been a secret crew aboard. Look at that leader, the one with the turban. Mr. Starboard, who's the leader there, the Chinese fella?
For one thing, he's the best harpooner who ever sailed blue water. For another, he's a quick one with that knife of his. Keep clear of it.
Aye, what a big brute.
Harpooning is not for children. On the double now, into the whaleboat. We've not got all day to watch Captain Ahab's heathen at work. Up the stroke, man. It will not be getting close enough for Queequeg to use the iron.
Sir, he's sounding. Look.
Look sharp now, man. Watch for him to break water.
Queequeg, does the whale always disappear so suddenly?
Oh, Queek. Come up, Queek, too. Right.
Smash boot.
All right, you two, stop the chatter. Keep a sharp eye out. If he turns toward us, we'll have little enough time to escape without waiting for you to finish the conversation.
Look out the bow. He's swerving.
Out the starboard! Pull, you devils! Pull the door on this Davy Jones this day. Now go!
No use there. He's turning towards us. He'll run us down.
Over the side, men! Grab whatever you find, but out there!
The whole cold night we lay there on the water, drifting we knew not where. But by midday next, the Pequod sighted us, and in the afternoon threw a line down to us where we lay barely afloat. In the days that followed, I was to learn that lost boats are a common occurrence on a whaler. Soon immersed in the daily shipboard routine, I'd all but forgotten the ordeal. Then the day came of our northward run, and that day also we made our first kill. Now, instead of dried fish and ship biscuits, we dined on the thick steaks we cut from our kill.
Ishmael, secure the harpoons for tomorrow's hunt.
Aye, sir. Oh, Perth. Are the harpoons ready for number 2 boat? Come on, step on it, you lazy rat. Good evening, Captain. I didn't see you.
Hey. Perth? Aye, sir. Look here, man. I want a harpoon made. One that 1,000 yoke of fiends couldn't tear apart. Something that'll stick to a whale like his own fin bone. In this bag here's the stuff. Here are gathered nail stubs from the steel shoes of racing horses.
Horseshoe stubs, sir. Then ye have the finest and stubbornest stuff we blacksmiths ever worked.
Stubborn? It'll melt together as butter in a hot biscuit, Duke. I'll blow up the fire for you myself. You two can stay to spell me. Perth, send your boy for Fedala and the other harpooners.
Aye, sir. You heard the captain, lad. On the double now.
Now, Perth, let us to work. Here, man. They're not yet ready for the water. Fedala, tell this shaft where he may find our Moby Dick. Now, Perth, the water. Well done, blacksmith, well done. And now for the barbs. You must make them yourself here. Here are my razors. They are of the best steel.
But your razors, sir, they're so fine.
Take them, I say. For now I neither shave, sup, nor breathe until... Here, to work. To work. Moby Dick shall indeed meet his end at my hands.
And now nightly Captain Ahab sat in his cabin, the harpooneer fashion held across his lap, and the light of madness in his eyes. I heard him talk to Fedala, his faithful person.
Fedala, I dreamed it again. Do you hear, Fedala? I saw them again.
Didst dream again of the hearses, Captain? Have I not said, old man, again and again, that neither hearse nor coffin shall be thine?
Aye, but who are either hearse or coffin that die upon the sea, Fedala?
But I also said, old man, that ere thou couldst die upon this voyage, 2 hearses must truly be seen by thee upon the water.
Come, Fedala, you speak foolishly. How can one come on a hearse upon the water?
Who can say, old man? Yet one that you see must not be made by mortal hand, and the visible wood of the other must be grown in American forest.
Aye, and a strange, unlikely sight that would be. Such a sight we would not believe.
Believe it or not, old man, such a sight must be seen by you ere you die. And as for me, though we two be the last on earth, I shall still go before you as your pilot.
Indeed. Well, what nonsense. For when you are gone, then must you return again to appear before me to guide me to my end? Then I now have 2 pledges, that I shall yet slay Moby Dick and survive.
Then take yet another pledge, old man. Hemp
alone can kill you. The gallows, you mean, eh? Then indeed am I immortal on land and on sea. I am immortal on the sea.
In the days that followed, we saw no whales, but soon we did meet the Nantucket ship Rachel. And from her skipper learned that the white whale had but the day before towed off one of her boats and its crew. And in that direction we sat sail, leaving the Rachel to continue the search for her orphans of the sea.
Oh, look out! Keep a sharp eye now. The white devil should soon be seen. Fire! Soon! She blows! You heard, men? It was I who sighted him. I had his fate that I should win my own cold coin. For it is my fate to kill the white monster. Steersman, port the helm. Come about now. Look out! What course does he set? Very steady, sir. On point of the starboard bow. I see. There he blows. And again, he's sounding. Down with the gallows. Down with the gallows! Man the three boats, the starboard. You stay aboard and keep ship. Stand by to lower the boat.
Soon the boats were strung out from the ship's side, and suddenly we, watching from the Pequod, could see the boats put about, frantically rowing for their very lives. For out of the sea came Moby Dick, and dead ahead lay the boat of Captain Ahab.
Look, Mr. Starbuck, he's got the boat. Moby Dick's got the boat.
Aye, and watch how he shakes it. Lucky will be the men who survive it.
Oh, the crew has disappeared, only for Down and the captain remain. Look, his jaws crushed the boat.
Aye. Desmond, set your helm for Moby Dick. We must drag him off and save what we can.
Sir, the captain's escaped. You see how he swims in the water? The whale has thrown him clear.
Pray that we have enough speed, Ishmael. See? Even now the whale turns upon Captain Ahab.
Every eye aboard the Pequod was watching Moby Dick crash about in mad circles, crazedly trying to shake off the tiny human form that gripped its tail smooth with the determination of the drowning. Then he gave a great shake of his tail and tossed the captain like a dart off into the sea. The great white monster leisurely turned tail upon us and swung majestic to leeward. 5 oarsmen of Captain Ahab's boat were missing, saved only the captain and Fidela, still grimly holding Captain Ahab's harpoon. The next morning found them once again setting out in the small boats, with Captain Ahab sitting tensely in the spare boat, hurriedly rigged out the evening before.
As never before, men. Today, Moby Dick, oar and harpoon are near at hand. Pull closer.
Any closer, old man, and his breathing will fan our cheeks. Look, even now he gathers to rush us.
So much the better. Soon he'll be so close he can't see us before him. Then the harpoon will find its mark quickly.
Old man, he is going to turn. You will have us all in the water again.
Here, change places with me, Fidela. I'll get him with an iron. There! A 2 hit!
Look about! The other boats are too close to us. He's got us all.
They're hit! At last! I have you!
Captain Ahab's iron went through, as did those from the other boats. And then Moby Dick went amok. And as a crazed monster turned in the sea, he fouled up the lines about him. He caught both Stubbs' boat and the other and crashed them into the sea where it became a single ship. That's Captain Ahab's boat. Moby Dick saved it until the last. And then a headlong charge made it also with a mass of splinters. We found Captain Ahab grimly clinging to the wreckage of his own boat, as had Fidela the day before.
Here, sir. Lean on me.
Hey, this splinter of whale bone is a poor excuse for a leg. Which way did that white demon go?
It's before, sir, to leeward.
Then why waste the time here? To the ship, we must chase him. I want a boat crew for Fidela and myself. Who'll stand up for it?
Sir, I think I should tell you that Fidela did not return. We did not find him among the wreckage.
No, that cannot be. No, send another boat for him. Search the ship. He must have swum back to it. He is not gone, I tell you. He is not gone.
Sir, we saw him go among the tangle of the lines on Moby Dick. The white whale pulled him down with him.
Then by the solemn heavens above, I promise you that we'll girdle the earth 12 times over high. I'll dive right through it if need be, but I'll slay him yet. Get me a harpoon. Do you hear? I'll slay him yet.
And thus we tracked the white whale through the night. But there were none who slept aboard the ship. And as the sun began a new day, we put out again from the Pequod for the third time. And this time I was among the crew.
You see, sir, now for the third time my soul starts its journey of vengeance.
Aye, sir. You must have it so.
Some ships sail from their ports and never afterwards are missing.
Saddest truth, sir.
And some men die at high tide, some at ebb. As for me, you men, put your backs into it.
By my faith, I don't like the looks of the sharks about a Queequeg. They have a look of waiting.
They wait for Moby Dick, not us.
Still, I shall be glad to be aboard the Pequod again.
See there, the lookout gave the signal. Pull harder, men. The whale's ahead. 5 men. 5. Harder. You need have no fear. No coffin and no hearse can be mine. Nor can I die but by hemp. I'll see you through. Pull, men. Pull.
There he is, Jefferson. Cut ahead. There he is, sir. He's way there.
This harpoon must go home to his heart.
He's going to broadside us, sir, and cutting into it.
I cannot die but by him. Why then should I fear death from a whale?
Sir, look! Look! Entangled among the lines on Moby Dick's side.
Fidela, my faith. Fidela. I and drag you free by the white whale. The prophecy, aye, Posse. I see you again. And thou goest before me as you prophesied. And this white monster is the hearse you promised me. But I still hold you to the last letter of your word. Where then is the second hearse?
Sir, the other boats are leaking badly. They request permission to return to the Pequod for repairs.
Repairs? Where's Moby Dick?
He's astern of us, sir. Look, he's making for the Pequod. He's going to ram us.
No, he's turned back. He's turned towards us.
Look alive now, men. We're near to him at last. Soon now, Moby Dick, my devil, and I'll have you. Now! Right through!
Oh, fair hit, sir. You've got the beast.
Devil, he's got the line.
Sir, he's making for the Pequod. He's mad with pain. Look how he rushes headlong toward her.
The Pequod, sir. It is no more. The whale has smashed it. It's sunk. And our shipmates with her also.
The ship. That was the second hearse. Its wood could only be American.
Sir, the whale sounded again. He's not to be...
Look sharp, men! He rises before us. And I, robbed of ship and friend, I shall still have my victory. Queequeg, place the harpoon in him.
Him no kill, whale. Him bad to kill.
What's this? Would you meet me against your captain? Well, never mind. I'll settle with you later. Perhaps it is fitting that I should throw the steel. Then shall we all go to our doom towed by the white whale. Now then, thus, I give up the spear!
Captain, the line's foul about your leg. Captain, the line!
My knife. Where's my knife?
Aye. 'Tis as Fidela has said. Only the hemp of a harpoon line could kill our Captain Ahab. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee, as it says in the book of Job. But during the night the small boat swamped, and buoyed by its fragments, I alone floated through the sea of sharks to live to testify to Captain Ahab's madness. But for what purpose I have not yet learned. Perhaps it is that I shall bear witness against the follies of man's search for his vengeance. Or perhaps it is that man's task here is for nobler purposes than the slaughter of those who would merely defend the life they have been given. No, I do not yet know the purpose, nor did I on that second day, when a sail drew nearer and nearer and picked me up at last. It was the devious cruising Rachel that in her retracing search after her missing children found only in the sea another orphan.
In Moby Dick. I think all of us find it fascinating to peer into the mind of a man like Captain Ahab, a man obsessed with a single idea, a man unbalanced by his morbid, unreasonable desire for revenge, which ruined his every chance for happiness. Lack of balance does that to a man, yes, and it'll do it to a family, too. We can become obsessed with the idea that some one thing spells the difference between happiness and unhappiness in our home. Money, for instance, or social standing, or the education we're able to give our children. Well, there's something else that's more important. It's the love and loyalty and faith in God that exist in a truly happy home. Men and women who are really balanced and truly reasonable understand this. They understand that prayer, daily family prayer, is a necessity in every home. We of Family Theater invite you to discover for yourselves that praying together as a family is a way of ensuring your family happiness. For the family that prays together stays together.
More things are wrought by prayer than this world dreams of.
Family Theater has brought you Dane Clark and Henry Hull in Herman Melville's Moby Dick with Celeste Holm as your hostess. The story was adapted for radio by Arthur Sawyer, with music composed and conducted by Harry Zimmerman, and was directed for Family Theater by Jaime Del Valle. Others in our cast were Nestor Paiva, Jim Nusser, William Conrad, Joseph Kearns, and Tudor Owen. This series of Family Theater broadcasts is made possible by the thousands of you who felt the need for this type of program, and by the Mutual Network, which has responded to this need. This is Gene Baker inviting you to be with us next week at this time when your Family Theater will bring you Alan Young and Patricia Neal in My Terminal Moraine. Join us, won't you? This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
American novels. Universally acclaimed as one of the superb tales of the sea is the story of a great white whale
and of Captain Ahab's fatal monomania in pursuing it. The NBC University of the Air presents an episode from Herman Melville's classic Moby Dick as the first in a new series in which we will bring you The Scarlet Letter, The Luck of Roaring Camp, Tom Sawyer, and many others as American novels. Desirous of seeing the world, the adventurous young Ishmael and his strange friend, the cannibal harpooneer Queequeg, have signed aboard the whaling ship, the Pequod. And in spite of ominous tales about how Ahab, the captain, had lost one of his legs in a battle with a white whale, and how this had strangely affected his behavior, they sailed with her. Not until they had been at sea several days did Captain Ahab stump on deck on his whalebone leg and divulge the true purpose of the voyage: to hunt to his death the giant white whale Moby Dick. To that sinister errand they found themselves irrevocably committed by Captain Ahab.
Call me Ishmael, mateys. As this business of whaling has somehow come to be regarded among landsmen as a disreputable pursuit, I am all anxiety to convince you of the injustice done us hunters of whales. For to grope down into the bottom of the sea after whales, especially after such a one as Moby Dick, to have one's hands among the unspeakable foundations, ribs, and the very pelvis of the world, this is a fearful thing. But perhaps it was the whiteness of Moby Dick that above all things appalled me. As I watched Captain Ahab stand his ceaseless vigil by the bulwarks, I wondered what must be the thoughts fermenting in his tortured brain.
Were the frigate's anchors for my bridle bits and harpoons for spurs, would I could mount that whale and leap the topmost skies, to see whether the fabled heavens with all their countless tents really lie encamped beyond my mortal sight. Well, I am Ahab. What I've dared, I've willed, and what I've willed, I'll do. Starbuck thinks me mad, but I'm demoniac. I am madness maddened. And though the white whale Moby Dick should turn up his wrinkled brow off the Persian Gulf or in the Bengal Bay or the Yellow Sea, or in any other waters haunted by his race, I'll rush unerringly to him, and naught's an obstacle. Death to Moby Dick!
Ahab's quenchless feud seemed mine. With greedy ears, I learned from my shipmates the history of that murderous monster against whom I and all the others had taken oaths of violence and revenge.
And I say that I, Starbuck, am here in this ocean to kill whales for my living, and not to be killed by them for theirs. That hundreds of men have been so killed, I well know. What doom was my own father's? And where in these bottomless deeps can I find the torn limbs of my brother? But mark ye, shipmates, of all whales, Moby Dick is the most dangerous.
A white whale. Do you mark that, mates? Look you, there's something special in the wind. Ahab has that's bloody on his mind. Did you hear that noise, Kabako?
What noise do you mean?
There it is again, under the hatches. Don't you hear it? A cough. It sounded like a cough.
Cough me eye. Pass along the bucket.
There again. There it is. Sounds like 2 or 3 sleepers turning over.
Caramba, have done, shipmate, will you? It's the 3 soaked biscuits you eat for supper turning over inside of you, nothing else. Look to the bucket.
Say what you will, Kabako. I've sharp ears.
Aye, you are the chap that heard the hum of your old lady's knitting needles 50 miles at sea from Nantucket. You're the chap.
Grin away. We'll see what turns up. But I'm saying there's somebody down in the afterhold that hasn't yet been seen topside. And I bet your old mogo Ahab knows something of it, too. What do you think, Chips?
That's against my principles. Think not is my 11th commandment, and sleep when you can is my 12th. But if it's of Moby Dick you're getting nervous, I have seen him. Look at his hanging lower lip. What a huge sulk and pout is there. A sulk and pout, by carpenter's measurement, about 20 feet long and 5 feet deep. Hey, a sulk and pout will yield you some 500 gallons of oil and more. Am I right, Mr. Starbuck?
You're right, Chips.
Aye.
But I say, look at his forehead. The sharpest lance darted by the strongest human arm only rebounds from it. It's as if the forehead of Moby Dick is paved with horses' hoofs. He'll be the death of us.
The wild water loneliness of our lives did strongly incline the men to superstition regarding Moby Dick. As for myself, as the days passed and the ivy-tusked Pequod sharply bowed to the blast and gored the dark waves in her madness till, like showers of silver chips, the foam flakes flew over her bulwarks, for me, the great floodgates of the wonder world seemed to swing open, and there floated into my inmost soul a giant whale, a grand hooded phantom, like a snow hill in the air. Moby Dick.
Come in. What do you want, Starbuck?
Will there be any change in the course, sir?
What's the wind?
Northeast by east, sir.
As you perceive, I've been consulting my sea charts. Where do you think Moby Dick spouts today, Mr. Starbuck?
No one could possibly know that, sir.
I'm not so sure of that, Starbuck.
Time and tide flow wide, Captain. And the hated whale has the whole round, watery world to swim in.
Aye. Their unrecorded names and navies rust, and untold hopes and anchors rot. Where in her murderous hold this frigate Earth is ballasted with bones of millions of the drowned. There in that awful waterland is Moby Dick's familiar home. Nevertheless, we shall find him.
But how, sir?
For some months, Starbuck, I have been making an elaborate migratory chart of the sperm whale. Look here. Here are the 4 oceans of the world with all their currents and eddies.
Yes, sir.
And here I have penciled in the various tides and currents, thereby calculating the driftings of the sperm whale's food. Dost thou understand?
I think I do, sir.
Good. Now, by referring to the regular seasons for hunting the sperm whale in particular latitudes, we can arrive at a surmise approaching to certainty concerning the likeliest day and upon what feeding ground to search for our prey.
But Moby Dick, sir, may not necessarily return to the same grounds twice.
Aye, but I have reduced possibilities to probabilities by consulting the old log books of 100 whaling ships. Look, these areas shaded in red are his places of long abode, Starbuck. I know his habits as I know my own. So it is not so absurd and hopeless a task, after all, to seek out one solitary creature in the unhooped oceans of this planet. Aye, Starbuck, though this Leviathan comes floundering down upon us from the headwaters of the eternities, and rearing upon the topmost crest of the equatorial flood, spouts his froth defiance to the skies, mine is the harpoon that will make him spout thick blood.
Perhaps, sir.
No, not perhaps. but absolutely. Change the course at 4 bells in the second dog watch and make it southwest for south. Leave me to my calculations. They at least give me pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Tell the lookouts and the mastheads to skin their eyes for a white whale, for white water. If they see but a bubble, sing out.
Aye, aye, sir.
Some certain significance lurks in all things, else all things are little worth, and the round world itself but an empty cipher, except to sell by the cartload to fill a morass in the Milky Way. The golden coin offered by Ahab to the first to sight Moby Dick was of purest virgin gold, raked somewhere out of the heart of gorgeous hills, and though now nailed to the mainmast, yet untouchable and immaculate to any foulness, it still preserved its Quito glow. Days, weeks passed, and under full sail the ivory Pequod swept on into the Pacific, that rolling of the midmost waters of the world, the tide-beating heart of the earth. And then, one transparent blue morning, when the long burnished sun glade on the water seemed a golden finger laid across them, enjoining some secrecy, high aloft in the cross trees, Kabako cried out,
Back the mainyard! Swing the boats out! Aye, aye, sir!
The cranes are thrust out, the mainyard backed. But look, 5 phantoms, for so they seem, are casting loose the tackles of the captain's boat on the other side of the deck.
Look, Mr. Starbuck.
Where'd they come from?
From below hatches. The ones I kept hearing, they're Chinamen.
Yes, stowaways, and Ahab's boatmen.
The figure standing by the boat's prow is tall, with one white tooth evilly protruding from its steel-like lips. Ahab cries out to him.
All ready there, Fidala?
Yes, Captain.
Lower away then, you hear? You! Stop it!
Aye, aye, sir.
Stop, you others! Lower away there, I say!
Aye, sir.
With a swift rattle of blocks, the boats are striking the water. Hardly do they pull out from under the ship's lee, when Ahab's boat pulls round under the stern, rolled by its sinister-looking crew.
Pledge yourselves! Give way, all poor folks! Well, stop it! Pull out fore to leeward! It isn't Moby Dick, but get him anyway!
Aye, aye, sir. Lay back on the oars, men. There again. There she blows ahead, boys. Lay back.
They're off. Starbuck in the lead.
Pull, my fine hearts alive. Pull. Why don't you break your backbones, my boys? What is it you stare at? Those chaps in yonder boat? They're only 5 more hands come to help us someday against Moby Dick himself. So pull and never mind the smell of brimstone. Easy. Don't be in a hurry. Why don't you snap your oars, you rascals? Fight something, you dogs. That's it. Long and strong. Stop snoring and pull, will you? Pull and start your eyes out. Spring, my men, spring. Sing out and say something, my hearties. That's it. Roar and pull, my thunderbolts. Reach me on that whale's back, boys. Steadily, lads. We're getting closer. Only pull. Crackle your backbones. Burst your livers and lungs. Give them the long and strong stroke. Raise the buried dead perpendicular out of their graves. Pull. Who's dropped an anchor overboard? Will you spit fire or not? Pull!
Furthest to windward, Ahab's tiger-yellow crew seems of steel and whalebone. Like 5 trip hammers, they rise and fall with regular strokes of string. What's happened? Ahab at the steering oar of his boat suddenly fell to one knee, and his rowers stopped. They're out of it. But not Starbuck. He continues to chase the whale, running dead to leeward.
Every man look out along his oars. Thou, Queequeg, stand up.
Aye, sir.
With a bound, Queequeg springs to the bow, harpoon quivering in his hand.
There he is. Keep cool, men. Cucumbers is the word. We're slipping up on him. Keep pulling, nothing more. Softly. It ain't the white whale today. All right, Queequeg. Give it to him. He's hit it.
Turn all! Wet the line! Wet the line! He's rushing!
Every man clings to his seat as they shoot forward, pulled by the whales.
Hurrah! This is the way to sail. Every keel a sunbeam. Haul in! Haul in!
All hands are pulling the boat up to him, while yet they are being towed on. Now they're closer. Queequeg shoots dart after dart into the flying monster.
Pull up! Pull up!
Red tides of blood pour from all sides of the monster. His tormented body rolls not in brine, but in blood which bubbles and seethes. Now he spouts. Again. Again. Jet after jet of white smoke agonizingly shoot from the whale's spout hole.
Once more, Queequeg!
The whale surges from side to side, dilating his spout hole with sharp, cracking, agonized breaths. Red gore shoots into the air and runs dripping down the whale's flanks. His heart has burst.
He's dead, Mr. Starbuck.
Yes, Queequeg. His pipe is smoked out.
Though in many of its aspects, this visible world seems formed in love, the invisible spheres were formed in fright. Aye, at sea there were times of dreamy quietude, when beholding the tranquil beauty and brilliancy of the ocean's skin, one forgets the tiger heart that pants beneath it. So, too, in pursuing the whale, Captain Ahab's ivory leg had received a half-splintering shock. He ordered the ship's carpenter to fashion a new one. The next morning, Chips the carpenter went below to Ahab's cabin.
Come in, come in. Well, man-maker.
If the captain pleases, I will now mark the length. Let me measure, sir.
Measured for a leg. Good. Well, it's not the first time. Go ahead, Chips.
Oh, for most folks, one pair of legs lasts a lifetime.
Not for me, eh? I'm a hard driver. Is that it, Chips? Driven one leg to death and spavined the substitute. Now, I suppose I'll be wearing out bone legs for the cord.
I hope not, sir.
What's Prometheus doing? The blacksmith, I mean. I have a job for him, too.
He is forging the buckle screw for the leg, sir.
Right. It's a partnership, and he supplies the muscle part. Between the two of you, I should order a complete man, built after a desirable pattern.
How's that, sir?
50 feet high in his socks. Chest modeled after the Thames Tunnel. Legs with rootstone to stay in one place. Arms, 3 feet through the wrists. Brass forehead, about a quarter of an acre of fine brains, and no heart. No heart at all.
I'm afraid I don't understand. Sir.
What are you sneezing about?
Bone is rather dusty, sir.
Take a hint, then. When thou art dead, don't bury thyself under living people's noses.
Sir?
Now I am debtor to a blockhead for a bone to stand on. Curse be that mortal entered indebtedness, which will not do away with ledgers. I would be free as air, and I'm down in the whole world's books. You finished that measuring?
Aye, sir.
Come in. Come in, Starbuck. How long before the leg is done, carpenter?
Perhaps an hour, sir.
Well, bungle away at it then and bring it to me.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Tell the blacksmith to report to me and close that door after you. On deck. Be gone.
Aye.
Well, what do you want this time, Starbuck?
We've been pumping the ship, and oil in the hold is leaking, sir. We must up the oil casks and break them out.
Heave to here for a week to tinker a parcel of old hoops?
Either do that, sir, or waste in one day more whale oil than we may make good in a year. What we come 20,000 miles to get is worth saving, sir.
Aye, so it is. If we get it.
I was speaking of the oil in the hold, sir.
And I was not speaking of the oil in the hold, sir. Be gone. Let it leak.
Excuse me, sir.
I'm all a leak myself, Starbuck. Aye, leaks in leaks. Not only full of leaky casks, but those leaky casks are in a leaky ship myself. And that's a far worse plight than the Pequod's, man. Because I don't stop to plug my leak. For who can find it in the deep-loaded hull, or how hope to plug it even if found in this life's howling? Starbuck, I'll not have the casks hoisted.
What will the owners say, sir?
Let the owners stand on Nantucket Beach and out-yell the typhoons. What cares Ahab? Owners. Owners. Thou art always prating to me, Starbuck, about those miserly owners as if the owners were my conscience. But look here. The only real owner of anything, Starbuck, is its commander. And hark ye, my conscience is in this ship's keel.
A better man than I might well pass over in me, sir. What he would quickly enough resent in a younger man. I, and a happier one, Captain Ahab.
Dost thou then so much as dare critically to think of me?
Shall we not understand each other better than hitherto, Captain Ahab?
There is one God that is Lord over the earth and one captain that is Lord over the Pequod. On deck.
Very well, sir. Thou hast outraged, not insulted me, sir. But for that I ask thee not to fear me. Thou wouldst but laugh. But let Captain Ahab beware of Captain Ahab. Beware of thyself.
What's that? Ahab. Beware of Ahab. Well, there's something there. Wait. Very well, Starbuck. Furl the topgallant sails and close reef the topsails fore and aft. Back the mainyard. Up with the casks and break out in the mainhold.
Very well, sir.
That'll be the blacksmith. Let him in.
Yes, sir.
Come in, Perth.
Thank you, Mr. Starbuck.
Well, come over here. Don't stand there trying to forge a smile.
Aye, aye, sir. You sent for me, sir?
In no paradise myself, I am impatient of all misery in others. That is not mad. Tell me, an old pike head with seams and dents in it, canst thou make it all smooth again, blacksmith?
I think so, sir.
And I suppose thou canst smooth almost any seams and dents, never mind how hard the material is, eh?
All seams and dents, but what?
Look here, then. Canst you smooth out a seam like this across and down my skull? Because if so, glad enough would I lay my head upon thy anvil and feel thy heaviest hammer between my eyes. Answer. Canst thou smooth this seam?
That is the one, sir. Said I not all seams and dents, but one?
Aye, blacksmith. It is the one unsmoothable. Hark ye. I want a harpoon made. One that 1,000 yoke of fiends could not part. Something that will stick in a whale like his own fin bow. There you are. The gathered nail stubs of the steel shoes of racing horses to make it out of.
Horseshoe stubs, sir. Thou hast here the best and stubbornest stuff we blacksmiths ever work.
Aye, I know it well, old man. Those stubs will weld together like glue from the melted bones of murderers.
Yes, this is to be the harpoon for the white whale, sir.
The white fiend. Now for the barbs. My razors, the best of steel. Here. Make the barbs sharp as the needle sleet of the icy sea.
Aye, sir.
And mind you, no water for tempering. I want my harpoon to be of the true death temper. So we'll draw blood from the arm of Fidala, my own harpooner. Aye. Tempered in the blood of the Chinese devil himself.
So the leg was measured, and the harpoon was made and tempered, and the whole world boomed before the wind as we swept across the robust and manlike sea that heaved with long, strong, lingering swells as Samson's chest in his sleep. And then one night, Ahab started from his slumbers and sought out Fedallah, the phantom harpooner, who lay with unblinking eyes in the forecastle head.
Fedallah.
Here, Captain?
I've dreamed it again.
Of the hearses?
Aye, the hearses.
Have I not prophesied, Captain, that neither hearse nor coffin can be thine?
Aye, but who is put in a hearse that dies on the sea?
I prophesied that ere thou couldst die on this voyage, 2 hearses must be seen by thee on the sea. The first not made by mortal hands, and the visible wood of the last one must be grown in America.
Strange sight, that. A hearse floating over the ocean with the waves for pallbearers? Ha! Such a sight will not soon be seen.
Thou canst not die till it be seen, Captain.
Dalla, what was that saying about thyself?
Though it come to the last, I shall still go before thee, thy pilot.
Aye, and when thou art so gone before, if that ever befalls, then ere I can follow, thou must still appear to me to pilot me still. Was it not so?
Yes, Captain.
Well then, my pilot, that makes 2 pledges that I shall yet slay Moby Dick and survive it.
Hemp only can kill thee.
Hemp? The gallows, you mean? Ha! I am immortal then, on land and on sea. Immortal on land and on sea. Death then to Moby Dick.
Thus Captain Ahab cherished a wild vindictiveness against the white whale. All evil to him seemed visibly personified in Moby Dick. He piled upon the whale's white hump the sum of all the rage and hate felt by mankind from Adam down. And then, as if his chest had been a mortar, he burst his hot shell upon it, dragging us helplessly after him to certain doom.
You have just heard an episode from Moby Dick by Herman Melville, as one of the best of America's novels brought to you each week by the NBC University of the Air. Next week, American Novels will present Nathaniel Hawthorne's novel of Old Salem, The Scarlet Letter. Remember that these and countless other great books are to be had in your local public library. Many American novels in the 1947 summer series are included in the useful handbook of the world's great novels, which you may obtain by sending 25 cents to World's Great Novels, Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York 27, New York. That's Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York 27. Moby Dick was adapted for radio by Frederick Schlick. The music was composed by Emil Soderstrom, and the orchestra was directed by Bernard Berquist. The entire production was under the direction of Homer Heck. Ishmael was played by Everett Clark, Captain Ahab by Jess Pugh, and Starbuck by Donald Gallagher. Others were Kurt Kupfer, Cliff Norton, Arthur Peterson, Bob Smith, and Cliff Sabir. This is Hugh Downs. This program came to you from Chicago and has been a presentation of the National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Living Fiction.
Northwestern University, in cooperation with the National Broadcasting Company, brings you an episode from one of the superb tales of the sea. The story of a great white whale and of Captain Ahab's fatal monomania in pursuing. Moby Dick by Herman Melville. Another in a series of living fiction. Desirous of seeing the world, the adventurous young Ishmael and his strange friend, the cannibal harpooneer, Queequeg, have signed aboard the whaling ship, the Pequod, and in spite of ominous tales about how Ahab, the captain, had lost one of his legs in a battle with a white whale, and how this had strangely affected his behavior. Not until they had been at sea several days did Captain Ahab stump on deck on his whalebone leg and divulge the true purpose of the voyage, to hunt to his death the giant white whale, Moby Dick. To that sinister errand they found themselves irrevocably committed by Captain Ahab.
Call me Ishmael, mateys, as this business of whaling has somehow come to be regarded among landsmen as a disreputable pursuit. I am all anxiety to convince ye of the injustice done us hunters of whales. For to grope down into the bottom of the sea after whales, especially after such a one as Moby Dick, to have one's hands among the unspeakable foundations, ribs, and very pelvis of the world, this is a fearful thing. But perhaps it was the whiteness of Moby Dick that above all things appalled me. As I watched Captain Ahab stand his ceaseless vigil by the bulwarks, I wondered what must be the thoughts fermenting in his tortured brain.
With frigate anchors for my bridle bits and the harpoons for spurs, would I cut mount that whale and leap the topmost skies to see whether the fabled heavens with all their countless tents really lie encamped beyond my mortal sight. Well, I may have, and what I've dared, I've willed, and what I've willed, I'll do. Starbuck thinks me mad, but I am demoniac. I am madness maddened, and though the white whale Moby Dick should turn up his wrinkled brow off the Persian Gulf, or in the Bengal Bay, or the Yellow Sea, or any other waters that haunted by his race, I'll rush unerringly to him, and naught's an obstacle. Death to Moby Dick.
Ahab's quenchless feud seemed mine. With greedy ears I learned from my shipmates the history of that murderous monster against whom I and all the others had taken oaths of violence and revenge.
And I say that I, Starbuck, am here in this ocean to kill whales for my living, and not to be killed by them for theirs. That hundreds of men have been so killed, I well know. What doom was my own father's? And where in these bottomless deeps can I find the torn limbs of my brother? But mark ye, shipmates, of all whales, Moby Dick is the most dangerous.
A white whale, do you mark that, mates? Look here, there's something special in the wind. Ahab has that's bloody on his mind. Did you hear that noise, Tobacco?
What noise you mean?
There it is again, under the hatches. Don't you hear it? A cough. It sounded like a cough.
Cough me, I pass along the bucket.
There again, there it is. Sounds like 2 or 3 sleepers.
Caramba! Have done, shipmate, will you? The 3 soaked biscuits you eat for supper turning over inside of you, nothing else. Look to the bucket.
Say what you will, Tobacco. I've sharp ears.
You're the chap that heard the hum of your old lady's knitting needles 50 miles at sea from Nantucket. You're the chap.
Grin away. We'll see what turns up. I'm saying there's somebody down there in the afterhold that hasn't yet been seen topside. And I bet our old mogul Ahab knows something of it, too. What do you think, Chips?
That's against my principles. Think not is my 11th commandment.
And sleep when you can is my 12th. Yeah, but if it's of Moby Dick you're getting nervous, I have seen him. Look at his hanging lower lip. What a huge sulking pout is there. A sulking pout, by carpenter's measurement, about 20 feet long and 5 feet deep. A sulking pout that will yield you some 500 gallons in oil and more. Am I right, Mr. Starbuck?
You're right. But I say, look at his forehead. The sharpest lance darted by the strongest human arm only rebounds from it. It's as if the forehead of Moby Dick is paved with horses' hooves. Aye, he'll be the death of us.
The wild water loneliness of our lives did strongly incline the men to superstition regarding Moby Dick. As for myself, as the days passed and the ivory-tusked Pequod sharply bowed to the blast and gored the dark waves in a madness till like showers of silver chips the foam flakes flew over her bulwarks, for me, the great floodgates of the wonder world seemed to swing open, and there floated into my inmost soul a giant whale, a grand hooded phantom like a snow hill in the air. Moby Dick!
Come in. What do you, Starbuck?
Will there be any change in the course, sir?
What's the wind?
Northeast by east, sir.
As you perceive, I've been consulting my sea charts. Where do you think Moby Dick spouts today, Mr. Starbuck?
No one can possibly know that, sir.
I'm not so sure of that, Starbuck.
Time and tide flow wide, Captain. And the hated whale has the round, watery world to swim in.
Aye, where unrecorded names and navies rust, and untold hopes and anchors rot, where in a murderous hole this frigate Earth is ballasted with the bones of millions of drowned. There in that awful waterland is Moby Dick's familiar home. Nevertheless, we'll find him.
But how, sir?
For some months I've been making an elaborate migratory chart of the sperm whale. Look here. Here are the 4 oceans of the world with all their currents and eddies.
Aye, sir.
And here I've penciled in the various tides and currents, calculating the drifting of the sperm whale's food. Do you understand?
I think I do, sir.
By referring to the regular seasons for hunting the sperm whale in particular latitudes, we can arrive at a surmise approaching to certainty concerning the likeliest day and upon what feeding ground to search for our prey.
But Moby Dick, sir, may not necessarily return to the same grounds twice.
I have reduced possibilities to probabilities by consulting the old log books of 100 whaling ships. Look, these areas shaded in red are his places of long abode, Starbuck. I know his habits as I know my own. So it is not so absurd and hopeless a task, after all, to seek out one solitary creature in the unhooped oceans of this planet. Aye, Starbuck, though this Leviathan comes floundering down on us from the headwaters of the eternities and rearing up on the topmost crest of the equatorial flood, spouts his fraught defiance to the skies, mine is the harpoon that will make him spout thick blood.
Perhaps, sir.
Not perhaps, but absolutely. Change the course at 4 bells in the second dog watch and make it southwest by south. And leave me to my calculations. They at least give me pleasure.
Aye, sir.
And tell the lookouts in the mastheads to skin their eyes for a white whale, for white water if they but see a bubble. Sing out!
Aye, aye, sir.
Some certain significance lurks in all things, else all things are little worth, and the round world itself but an empty cipher, except to sell by the carload to fill a morass in the Milky Way. The golden coin offered by Ahab to the first to sight Moby Dick was of purest virgin gold, raked somewhere out of the heart of gorgeous hills, and though now nailed to the mainmast, yet untouchable and immaculate to any foulness, it still preserved its Quito glow. Days, weeks passed, and under full sail the ivory Pequod swept on into the Pacific, that rolling of the midmost waters of the world, the tide-beating heart of the earth. And then one transparent blue morning when the long, burnished sun glade on the waters seemed a golden finger laid across them enjoining some secrecy. High aloft in the cross tree, Kabako cried out,
Back the mainyard! Swing the boat out!
The cranes were thrust out, the mainyard backed. Look, 5 phantoms, for so they seem, are casting loose the tackles of the captain's boat on the other side of the deck.
Look, Mr. Starbuck.
Where'd they come from?
From below hatches. The ones I kept hearing. That Chinaman.
Stowaways. And Ahab's boatman. The figure standing by the boat's prow is tall, with one white tooth evilly protruding from its steel-like lips. Ahab cries out to him,
All ready there, Fadella?
Ready?
Lower away, then, do you hear? You, Starbuck, Stubbs, and the others, lower away, I say!
Aye, sir.
With a swift rattle of blocks, the boats are striking the water. Hardly when they pull out from under the ship's lee when Ahab's boat pulls round under the stern, rowed by its sinister-looking crew.
Spread yourselves! Give way out for a boat! Now, Starbuck, pull up more to the leeward! It isn't Moby Dick, but Jerry beware!
Aye, sir! Lay back on the oars, you men. Oh, there again. Oh, there she blows ahead, boys. Lay back. They're off. Starbuck's in the lead. Pull, my fine hearts alive. Pull. Why don't you break your backbones, my boys? What is it you stare at? Those chaps in yonder boat? There are only 5 more hands come to help us someday against Moby Dick himself. So pull. Never mind the smell of brimstone. Easy. Easy. Don't be in a hurry. Why don't you snap your eyes, you rascals? Fight something, you dogs. That's it. That's it. Now, long, strong. Stop snoring, you, and pull, will you? Pull and start your eyes out. Spring, my men, spring. Sing out and say something, my hearties. That's it. Roar and pull, my thunderbolts. Reach me on that whale's back, boys. Steadily, lads. We're getting closer. Only pull. Crack all your backbones. Bust your livers and lungs, men. Give them the long and strong stroke. Raise the buried dead perpendicular out of their graves. Pull. Who's dropped an anchor overboard? Will you spit fire or not? Pull. Furthest to windward, Ahab's tiger yellow crew seems of steel and whalebone. Like 5 trip hammers, they rise and fall with regular strokes of strength. But what's happened? Ahab at the steering oar suddenly fell to one knee and his rowers stopped. They're out of it. But not Starbuck. He continues to chase the whale running dead to leeward. Every man look out along his oars. Now thou, Queequeg, stand up. With a bound, Queequeg springs to the bow, harpoon quivering in his hand. Aye, there he is. Now keep cool, men. Cucumbers is the word. We're slipping up on him. But keep pulling. Nothing more than softly. It ain't the white whale today. All right, you, Queequeg. Now give it to him! He's hit it! Turn all! Wet the line, you! He's rushing! Every man clings to his seat as they shoot forward, pulled by the whale. This is the way to sail! Every keel a sunbeam! Haul in there, haul in! All hands pulling on the boat. Now they're closer. Queequeg shoots dart after dart into the flying monster. Pull up! Pull up! Red tides of blood fall from all sides of the monster. The moment the body rolls, not in brine, but in blood, which bubbles and seethes. Now he spouts. Again. Again. Jet after A jet of white smoke agonizingly shoots from the whale's spout hole. Once more, Queequeg! The whale surges from side to side, dilating its spout hole with sharp, cracking, agonized breath. Red gore shoots into the air and runs dripping down the whale's flank. His heart has burst.
He dead, Mr. Starbuck.
Aye, Queequeg. His pipe is smoked out. Though in many of its aspects, this visible world seemed formed in love, the invisible spheres were formed in fright. Aye. At sea, there were times of dreamy quietude when, beholding the tranquil beauty and brilliancy of the ocean's skin, one forgets the tiger heart that pants beneath it. So, too, in pursuing the whale, Captain Ahab's ivory leg had received a half-splintering shock. He ordered the ship's carpenter to fashion a new one, and the next morning Chips the carpenter went below to Ahab's cabin.
Come in, come in. Well, man-maker.
If the captain pleases, I'll now mark the length. Let me measure, sir.
Measured for a leg. Good. Well, it's not the first time. Go ahead, Chip.
And now, for most folks, one pair of legs lasts a lifetime.
But not for me, huh? I'm a hard driver. Is that it, Chips? Driven one leg to death and spavined the substitute. Now I suppose I'll be wearing out bone legs by the cord.
I hope not, sir.
What's Prometheus doing? The blacksmith, I mean. I've a job for him, too.
He's forging the buckle screw for the legs, sir.
Right. It's a partnership. He supplies the muscle part. Between the two of you, I should order a complete man built after a desirable pattern.
How is that, sir?
50 feet high in his socks. Chest modeled after the Thames tunnel. Legs with roots to 'em to stay in one place. And arms 3 feet through at the wrists. A brass forehead. About 1/4 of an acre of fine brains and no heart at all.
I'm afraid I don't understand you, sir.
What art thou sneezing about?
The bone is rather dusty, sir.
Take the hint, then. And when thou art dead, don't bury thyself under living people's noses.
Sir?
Oh, so now I'm a debtor to a blockhead for a bone to stand on. Cursed be that mortal inter-indebtedness which will not do away with ledgers. I would be free as air, and I'm down on the whole world's books. Finish that measuring.
Aye, sir.
Come in. Come in, Starbuck. How long before the leg's done, Carpenter?
Perhaps an hour, sir.
Well, bungle away. You didn't bring it to me.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
And tell the blacksmith to report to me. And close the door after you. On deck and be gone.
Aye, sir.
Well, what do you want this time, Starbuck?
We've been pumping the ship, and oil in the hold is leaking, sir. We must up the oil cask and break 'em out.
Heave to here for a week to tinkle a parcel of old hoops.
We'll either do that, sir, or waste in one day more whale oil than we make good in a year. What we come 20,000 miles to get is worth saving, sir.
So it is, if we get it.
I was speaking of the oil in the hold, sir.
And I was not speaking of the oil in the hold, sir. Be gone and let it leak.
Excuse me, sir, but...
I'm all a leak myself, Starbuck. Aye, leaks and leaks. Not only full of leaky casks, but those leaky casks are in a leaky ship myself. And that's a far worse plight than the Pequod's, man. Yet I don't stop to plug my leak. For who can find it in the deep, loaded hull, or now hope to plug it even if found in this life's howling? Starbuck, I'll not have the casks hoisted.
What will the owners say, sir?
Let the owners stand on Nantucket Beach and out yell the typhoons. What cares Ahab? Owners, thou art always prating to me, Starbuck, about those miserly owners as if the owners were my conscience. But look ye, The only real owner of anything is its commander. And hark ye, my conscience is this ship's keel.
Captain Ahab, a better man than I might well pass over in thee what he would quickly enough resent in a younger man. Aye, and in a happier one.
Dost thou then so much as dare critically to think of me?
Shall we not understand each other better than hitherto, Captain Ahab?
There is one God that is Lord over the earth, and one captain that is Lord over the Pequod on deck.
Very well, sir. Thou hast outraged, not insulted me, sir. But for that I ask thee not to fear me. No, thou wouldst but laugh. But let Captain Ahab beware of Captain Ahab.
What's it?
Beware of thyself.
Ahab, beware of Ahab. There's something there. Wait! Very well, Starbuck. Furl the topgallant sails and close reef the topsails fore and aft. Break the mainyard and up with the casks and break out in the main hole.
Very well, sir.
Well, that'll be the blacksmith. Let him in.
Yes, sir. Come in, first. Thanks, Mr. Starbuck.
Come over here. Don't stand there trying to forge a smile.
Aye, aye, sir. You sent for me, sir.
I'm in no paradise myself, and I'm impatient of all misery in others that's not mad. Tell me, an old pikehead with seams and dents in it, can thou smooth it again, blacksmith?
I think so, sir.
And I suppose thou canst smooth almost any seams and dents, never mind how hard the material is, huh?
All seams and dents but one.
Looky here, then. Can ye smooth out a seam like this across and down my skull? Because if so, glad enough would I lay me head upon thy anvil and feel thy heaviest hammer between my eyes. Answer, can thou smooth this seam?
That is the one, sir. Said I not all seams and dents but one?
Aye, blacksmith. It is the one, unsmoothable. Well, I want a harpoon made, one that 1,000 yoke of fiends could not pull apart, something that will stick in a whale like its own fin bone. There you are. The gathered nail stubs of the steel shoes of racing horses to make it out of.
Horseshoe stubs, sir? Thou hast here the best and stubbornest stuff we blacksmiths ever worked.
I know it, old man. Those stubs will weld together like glue from the melted bones of murderers.
This is to be the harpoon for the white whale, sir?
For the white fiend? No, now for the barbs, my razors, the best of steel. Here. Make the barbs sharp as the needle sleet of the icy sea.
Aye, sir.
And mind you, no water for tempering. I want my harpoon to be of the true death timber. So you'll draw blood from the arm of Padula, my own harpooner. Aye, tempered in the blood of the Chinese devil himself.
Was measured, and the harpoon was made and tempered, and the whole world loomed before the wind as we swept across the robust and manlike sea that heaved with long, strong, lingering swells as Samson's chest in his sleep. And then one night, Ahab started from his slumbers and sought out Fadullah, the phantom harpooner, who lay with unblinking eyes on the forecastle head.
Fadullah.
Here, Captain.
I've dreamed it again.
Of the hearses?
Yes, the hearses.
Have I not prophesied, Captain, that neither hearse nor coffin can be thine?
Yes. Yes, but who is it put in a hearse that dies on the sea?
I prophesied that ere thou couldst die on this voyage, 2 hearses must be seen by thee on the sea. The first not